Whispers float in empty halls. Footsteps echo down the walls. Shadows break where secrets lie. Every echo holds a hidden sign. Blow the trace along the crime, the hush that haunts the night, the fear that lives in light. Unravel lines of twisted lies. In the dark, the story waits unseen.
And here we go.
And we're back. Oh, shoot. I don't like that. Let me flip me over. There we go. I don't like being on that side. I don't like being over there.
No, you don't. Is that the side you sleep on in the bed too?
I just don't like being on that side. I don't know why. It feels weird.
It feels weird.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. That makes total sense. Plus, it's your good side, so yeah.
Yeah. Hey guys. So tonight we're just kind of having a little bit of a community discussion about kind of whatever, true crime, yada yada. We want to talk a little bit about all the crap going on in Summer's case because Tracy's been watching everything. You know, and kind of like talk about what really is going on. So that's basically what we're doing, making it kind of a community talk.
Yeah.
And whatnot. And, you know, remind everybody that Spirit Led is tomorrow. If anybody still wants to join till noon tomorrow, you can sign up. And I still have raffle tickets too, where you can win reading. So if anybody's interested in that, I need to throw that out there. But let me throw up something real quick.
I really need my other glasses because I cannot see a thing.
Because Tracy can't see.
No,
and as you guys know, this is Tracy.
Hi, everybody.
All right.
I'm sure they're used to my excessive typing all the time, so.
I'm trying to find my caption. Here we go. That way we're covered there.
Oh, actually, I could put you on the. Oh, I don't know if I can put you on the TV without having reverb. But okay.
There we go. All right. And then you guys can ask questions in the chat too if you want to. But yeah, we're just gonna have kind of chill community discussion about all this BS going on.
Total BS. So, the other thing I want to mention too is that, you know, because Rochelle's work is kind of changing a little bit with her process and everything, it seemed like a lot of people were getting maybe disconnected and not feeling so, you know, involved in the readings and where the cases were going and stuff. So we thought it was kind of a good idea to just get everybody re-engaged and reconnected and see what your thoughts were on that and if that's something that you guys were like really missing.
Here we go.
Want to hear it. Oh, well, that was fast.
No, it's Ezekiel. He set it off because he wants to go up there.
Okay.
That's his spot now.
That's his spot.
Yeah.
He's becoming a very prominent figure every single time that you're on, apparently. Maybe he needs his own channel.
There. And actually, Roscoe's here sleeping. He's been here like all day. So I don't know what's going on with him, but
yeah, I've noticed he's been hanging around quite a bit too. So yeah.
I don't know. But
so has anybody else been following kind of like all the drama that's happening right now with Summer's case and all the alleged tips and leads? It's a little crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I stay out of it, so that's why Tracy goes and looks.
She has been staying out of it very well, actually.
It makes me mad.
It does. It makes her
very mad.
And I try to be like the mediator between her flipping somebody off and, you know, but I think we all know that we might not all resonate with other creators and other readers, things like that put stuff out in the internet. And it's especially hard when you watch something that's very graphic when it has to do with a child that is not necessary. And that's why, Rochelle's always been trying to be very ethical about her readings and things like that. And there's just some things that don't need to be present, regardless if they come across or whatever. That's not the purpose of it. So, I think everything's kind of shifting away from that, and it's also kind of causing a problem within anybody that's in the psychic community, obviously, because now you have a whole bunch of people that are like, "Oh my God, you're all crazy and you're all talking to the darkness and blah 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 blah," and that's not actually the case. I mean, some of them talk to weirdos in their living rooms at night, whatever. That's their own thing. But, you know, we try to stay away from the weirdos and all those other things because they just make us do bad things usually. So, you know, and
Well,
our
I think the reason, like, a lot of people don't want to hear the truth because there's no drama with it. And like literally
absolutely.
this is like, sorry. Literally, um for one thing, like, I don't think people understand what I'm learning about myself is I'm learning more and more about myself with my astrology. Like, I'm
Yeah,
learning more of how I work. I'm learning, the better ways that I work. And I think a lot of people don't understand that like, I am like an antenna. Like, I pick up everything. If I'm doing
yep,
like, and I didn't realize that when I was doing sitters and stuff. Like, I was trying different things, and I had a lot
yep,
of people that would complain that I was using a sitter or yada yada yada. Like, no one was ever happy. The point is that these are the gifts that I use to
sure.
help missing persons and cold cases, and I have to do what is the best to get rid of the noise because I'm learning that I'm a timeline medium, and this is why I pick up so many interconnects and so many echoes.
Yeah,
And literally, I can pick up the lies and everything. I did this a lot in Caleb, where I pick up all the
yeah,
lies, and then I have to bring it in and get
yeah,
to the truth eventually. And so it's very hard because me picking that up, like, I can see it. And a lot
mhm,
of people don't work like that. So they don't understand that
exactly.
literally I can read the chat's mind. I can
Right.
read my sitters' minds, like, not even trying to, especially when they're louder. I learned that a lot in Ethan. Like, literally, and Ethan, like, he got upset and left because the chat was louder talking about suspects and
Yeah.
everything. And I watched the second video of Idaho 4 last night because I was trying to find validation. It wasn't very good, and I'll tell you why, because everybody had their own ideas of who the suspect was. So
Yes,
it
they did.
totally made me, like, second guess everything. And people come at me and say, "Well, why are you second guessing?" Because you guys are making me second, not you guys,
Yeah,
but that will make me second guess. The community will make me second guess. So in
absolutely.
order for it to be as accurate as possible, that's not to say I'm not going to get other community, other like echoes and things like that, because I still
Oh,
will,
totally,
because
totally.
my prophetic sequencing, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, like,
Well,
I
Caleb, for instance, you got
yeah,
so much of what the noise that was going on,
mm,
probably with the narrative behind, closed doors of what the perception was, how they were trying to make it appear like he was doing these things to get away from being the suspects,
yeah,
Like that
and
was pretty loud.
so it's hard for me to tell the difference because, like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just picking up like whatever, and sometimes
Right.
those lies and stuff are just louder. And when I'm
Absolutely.
learning that when people, like, cases have
Yep.
heavy Neptune, that it's like literally a kryptonite for me. Like, I have to kind of like,
Yep.
so things might start whiter, and then I have to kind of bring in and eventually get to the truth. And I noticed
Mhm.
that in Summer and in others. Like, now I know what happened, but before it was like untangling a freaking web of a bunch of shiznick. And
Interesting. Huh.
yeah, and also I noticed,
Mm,
because what I'm learning, and I just posted a video about this, is the fixed sign placements in the astrology. Like, a lot of the cases, like Summer, Sebastian,
yeah.
um, cases like that, let's see, Jack and Lily, all those ones with a lot of noise, confusion, bullshit, drama,
Yep.
they're all fixed signs, and that's why they're also delayed. Not only that,
Mm.
but Summer has Mercury retrograde in her chart, and we're Mercury
Yep.
retrograde right now. That's why you're seeing stuff kind of picking up, and
Yep.
it's actually
Definitely.
retrograding back to when she went missing. So that kind of brings up things, and actually I called and made my tip during Mercury
Mhm.
retrograde because of that, because it'll get things moving. They'll go back. Um,
It will get things moving. There's also, I think,
yeah.
more of a solid validation in some of that information too that wasn't quite apparent because of all that stuff. So I think that you have to appreciate the fact that you're able to kind of open up more to that, revisit things, and sooner or later, there might be that little thing that goes, "Oh my gosh."
Well,
Now it all makes
I
sense.
always get pulled back at
Mhm.
specific times because my chart, I have
Right.
Mercury retrograde in my chart. So I have a thing for cold cases and revisiting old cases when I feel pulled back to them.
Mhm.
Um, and Summer and Sebastian, like their charts are very similar. They're very similar echoes. Um,
Mhm. I know,
so
it's crazy.
yeah, so February is looking pretty good because there's going to be some things in the astrology that's going to help those fixed placements kind of move
Yeah.
finally in February for probably Summer and Sebastian and all that. So that doesn't necessarily, I'm hoping it means they'll check my thing and she'll be found, hopefully. But
I hope so
that's
too. Yeah. Well, I mean, just by the actions right now that are kind of happening, it's already kind of like I think started to open that up a little bit because they needed movement somehow in some
Mhm.
way. And because so many people were involved in all the drama and everything, I mean, if paying attention to it's like the TBI, the FBI, they all said, you know what, stop. If you don't have useful information, then don't bring it in. And apparently they found something that maybe has some merit to it. Not
I
convinced it
don't
has
think
something to do exactly with her in her case, but they're onto something,
I don't think it has anything to do with summer, that's the thing. I think the only reason everybody's
Mhm.
making a big deal out of it is because it's in the same area, but I really think it has to do with drugs,
Yeah,
trafficking. I think someone with DON, I think maybe he's an informant and he's probably telling people things. He's the one that made the tip allegedly. So, I think
right.
he's always said summer was traffic since the beginning
Oh,
because he
since the
knows
very
what's going
beginning,
on
he knew
out
it.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
always tried to deflect. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, there is literally no stranger, no trafficking, nothing like that in Summer's chart. It's accidental signature off of someone blowing up and then
Right.
covering it. And that is it. There is literally no perpetrator other than within the home and it being not on purpose, but a heat of the moment thing.
Right.
There's literally nothing there. So I get
Yeah.
irritated because every time I've tapped in myself, I've seen Summer running. I've seen Summer running. I've seen Candy
Mhm.
like throwing a fit and, wailing. That's and then I
And
see Summer fall and then I see her hit her head. It is like that every single time. I literally cannot change it. I couldn't bring in a perpetrator if I freaking wanted to.
Yeah, there's no
So,
perpetrators. There's no satanic balonies and
no,
things like that going on. And, not for nothing, but my own personal opinion is that if that's what is being portrayed and put out in public when it's regards to a child, especially if it were my own child, I would be like, what is wrong with you? Nothing like that needs to be allowed. That's not how the ethics of being a psychic work, in my own opinion.
well,
And,
we
it's
don't for
very dangerous.
researching either.
Exactly. But it's very dangerous to put that kind of narrative out there and you traumatizing a whole collective group of people that are paying attention to this and it's sad. It doesn't and poor Summer. Go back to your original reading when you were channeling her, Michelle, and she was very much like I love my mom. I know like I forgive her. It wasn't something that was, obviously didn't happen on purpose. It was, and this is kind of like their own karmic stuff that they're going through together, and getting rid of all those traumatic, horrible cycles. And I think that's part of like why, especially when you said that she had, well, how did you word it? Was it her soul? What's the words that you used? Now I
Soul
can't remember.
contract.
No, but it was where her placements are and her fixed points and everything.
Yeah.
I can't um so basically it was like her whole circle, like her whole soul circle just returning back to where it is. And
Oh, her soul circle in February next to her birthday. Yeah. I
yeah,
remember what you're saying. Yeah.
yep. And when you think about the beautiful parts of what spirituality is and connecting with people that are crossed over. And, even the most horrible, horrible crimes that get committed, there's always something that's very, very poignant behind it and a reason why. And, especially with children, you have to understand that if their elders or their parents or siblings, whatever, have not been able to fulfill those things, break those karmic cycles and everything, it takes quite a just beautiful soul to be able to come in and be like, you know what? No one else is having a great shot at it, so I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah.
And it's very important to honor those things. And when a child says, Mom, you need to, like, I forgive you, you need to forgive yourself, it was just kind of like, it's a very, very, very beautiful, wise thing for Spirit to say. And, her mom really needs to hear that right now. She needs to hear that terribly. And it's just kind of horrible when you have all these other things going on to make it, it's more monstrous than it needs to be, because that's not what souls are about. That's not what soul evolution is about. That's not what healing is about. It's not about all those nightmares and everything else that they put into it and all the added drama. That's just not the way it's supposed to be. And especially with children.
No. If there was trafficking or a stranger, it would show up in her chart. If there was anything involved around, it would show up. Like there would be aspects that would show that, and we have checked that a million
Yep.
times. We have checked the horary. It doesn't matter if Candace was seen coming out of the land. That could be at any point, any time, for anything.
Yep.
You know,
And
I
very
have
well visited area.
yeah. And every time we run the horary for this and ask if she's in that hollow, I accidentally did it 3 times last night. We got a yes every single time.
I know, right?
And I was like, "Oops, I didn't mean to run that again or ask for that
Oh, yes,
again."
I
But
did.
there's the
Oh, yes,
third
I
time.
did. I know,
So,
right? Oop, that was an accident. Oops, that was
but
another
it
accident.
was extra confirmation, because when
Yeah,
I call in a tip, I don't want to lead anybody on a wild goose chase. And it's hard for me to see, like, yep, she's there for certain there, like, because I start
right.
second guessing everything. So that's where the astrology comes in to help me, because otherwise I'll second guess, and like I have to cut through that noise. That's part of my path. Like,
Yes, you do.
literally, I have all the markers of someone that's supposed to do this work, and
Yeah,
I can't do anything else. Like, that's just what I'm made for.
yeah,
And but I'm made for these types of cases to see through the bullshit, to say what
absolutely.
really happened. That's why you guys always see me on the opposite side of what everybody else is saying and what usually happens. Because
Yep.
everybody else turns shit into a conspiracy.
Yes,
And
they
I'm
do.
I'm just seeing what really happened. I literally
Yeah,
cannot fabricate a perpetrator if I wanted to. My
yeah,
placements don't allow me to do that. And I try to make everybody happy, but I literally cannot
yeah,
fabricate
no.
one. I'm not allowed to.
And,
So,
doing those kind of tests or whatever too. And, it goes kind of back to another reading that you had done on another situation where, you know, you kind of questioned it because you put it out there and you were kind of questioning what the cards were showing, and you didn't really have a whole lot of information about it. And I said, wait a minute, hold on a second. This kid happened to be in the presence of the mom's boyfriend, not
oh,
the
Liam,
mom. Yep. And
I was gonna make a
once
video
we
about
kind of
that.
went back and reviewed it, it was like, you know what? I don't fit, because the one thing I kept stressing to Rochelle was about, you're not ever wrong with water. You're not ever wrong with water. You're not, like, the water is your thing. Like, you know,
In my
like you
chart,
kept
I'm
hammering
supposedly
me.
good with water deaths and accidents. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it kind of got me like all, because I'm like, okay, something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. And then after seeing that all kind of blow up, and I was watching a press conference come along, and I said, what? Wait a minute, hold on. Because everybody was under the impression that this kid was visiting friends or whatever with his mom, and he was with the mom's boyfriend. And when you have someone that's maybe not experienced with kids that are kind of like similar personality, and I don't like to use the category of autism because that's so wide that it's really hard to put a pin on something that is just a whole collective of different special things for a child. And once it was like, Okay, I'm questioning this, and why does it keep it? Okay, why am I having a problem with this card? Why is it showing up? And it what showed up 3 times or whatever, and it's like, but that's not what I'm getting. And one thing I hope that everybody kind of understands, and I'm very, I guess, appreciative in a way because I get to watch Rochelle work a little bit more behind the scenes because, sometimes it's like we're trying to like talk something through because it doesn't make sense that it takes that one little tidbit that says, wait a minute, okay, hold on, let me go back and recheck these things. And she does because she doesn't want to be inaccurate. She doesn't want to put out a false reading because that doesn't help her credibility at all. But yeah, I have to say, and I stand firm in this, is that there will be times she goes back 100 times, 500 times. I don't even have any more memory on my phone anymore because all these screenshots, like, this is what I tried, this is what I did, this is what literally I ran out of memory because that's how thorough and that's how much she wants to make sure that she never puts something out that's inaccurate, and when she's channeling, and that was the one other question that I was asking about that particular case because I said, well, were you channeling him or were you just, kind of trying to do it with cards or whatever? That was more of an understanding after we kind of had that discussion because that made more sense for me,
because
because
because when I tapped in, he wasn't in the water, and that's why I wasn't seeing him in the water. But then later, when I pulled the cards, he was in the
yeah,
water, and I got the pond. And then when she told me that, she's like, they checked the pond, and he wasn't
yep,
there. So I went back and
yes,
looked at
they
the
did.
astrology, and it's showing accident placed. It's not showing he went into the water. I literally have a video about that. I've put it out yet, but that was for Liam's
It's
because
going
I
to
was
be
like,
fascinating when you are able to like kind of explain it to everybody because even I still was like, all right, this is bugging me. This bugged me so badly. I remember I don't even think we talked for like 2 days because there was so much blowing up on the opposite side and you're trying to process everything. And I'm like, this is really irking me because this doesn't make any sense. Like, this makes no sense to me. And, it gets to a point sometimes too when you're trying to deep dive into a case, and especially where it's like, your gift, your craft, like, what everything symbolizes. And just something is so off and you can't put your finger on it. But it was that one piece of information that was like, okay, now it's all making
well, the
sense.
body in the car, the body in the vehicle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out. I was like, why did I pulled it 3 times. I kept putting it back and I kept pulling out. I'm like, why does it keep telling me
Yep.
body in a vehicle? Because literally in the chart, it shows he was transported in a vehicle. So everybody just threw it up
Mhm.
as, oh, okay, it was an accident, but it's not showing that way at all in the chart. And that's
Right.
why I wasn't seeing him in the water because at the time I tapped in, he
Yep.
wasn't there.
Yep. I know that blew my mind too because I was like, wait a minute, they just literally said on TV that they checked that spot already and he wasn't there. And how many times do we have that whole conversation about sometimes they miss people, sometimes, but the kid wasn't there, like he was not there yet. So
It
that
wasn't
was,
the river. I mean, it's different in a river than in a pond, I think. I don't see how they
yeah,
would have missed him in a pond.
I know, right? After draining it and everything else. But yeah, it's kind of fascinating actually. When you're all able to see it, you're going to be like, wow, that's bizarre and crazy. Like, and that's exactly why you get these kind of cases though, because, let's had you not known that piece of information, you would have just been, I mean, because you were hard on yourself for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I'm like, stop second guessing. Like, you're not wrong. And you're like, well, I must be wrong because everybody else is like telling me exactly. I'm like, no, go back. Like, listen, take this information and go think about it for a little bit. And then go look at what you got for your cards and everything else. And that's the one thing that you do, Rochelle, that you're very open about because you don't want to be wrong. And, it's especially when you're putting out true crime stuff for a narrative of what could have potentially happened to somebody and they don't have the right answers. They don't have the truth. That's all something they're going to have to work on in their own thing. But it's important for the victims to have their story told, and that's kind of why you're so passionate about what you do.
Well, I seem to like I have this part of my chart where I see accidents for what they are, where a lot of other people are screaming,
Uh huh.
conspiracy or whatever. I mean, Jay Slater, Kylie Rodney.
Oh my God,
Kylie
Jason.
Rodney I saw go in before like
Yeah,
anybody knew she was missing.
right.
Um, and everybody wants to put a perpetrator on Summer Wells, and there's not. Everybody wants to put a perpetrator on Sebastian Rogers, and there's not. You know,
Not in the sense that
Willie and
people
Jack did
think,
not
yeah,
run off. So,
right,
you know, I
exactly.
can see, and the thing is too, is I'm not good about it in my own life, but when it comes to certain people lying, I can tell. I can look at Jack and Lily's mom and I get so upset because I
Mm-hmm.
know she's not telling the truth.
Exactly. It's that
And
energy that's already imprinted in
yeah,
you that you've experienced already, Absolutely. That's
and I'll get the reference and Spirit will show me Megan Boswell, Megan Boswell, Megan. I'm like, then that's who she's like. Like, I don't care
totally.
if
I
she
I
casts
swear to
something.
God, even their physical appearance changes. They all look similar, in my own opinion.
But
Like,
they all have.
you
I
know,
just made like a
it's
video
the
about the
dark
dark mother
eyes.
narcissist because they all have similar astrological markers
That's
about,
crazy. That's crazy. And the other thing too, especially with children that can't really have they weren't here for a very long time to begin with. And a lot of times children, no matter what, even coming through spiritually like that, they don't have that like initiative to put blame on their parents, even if their parents had something to do with an accident or anything like that. They love their parents. They don't want to turn around and think that, because they're in their soul contract together. There's a reason why they're going through it. So for anybody to keep making it so nasty and so, terrible, you got to remember they're still souls. Sebastian is still a soul, Mike Yvonne is still a soul. Summer Wells is still a soul, and she wants her mom to know she loves her and she forgives her, and she wants her to be able to forgive herself so they can heal together and close that karmic cycle that they have, and that's what's, I think, a lot of times they just miss out on that because true crime and psychic whatever all goes hand in hand with, oh, it must be something so enticing and everything, and they're missing the point,
it's not
especially
always like
well, it's
just like that
not,
case
it's not.
Bradley, when she sent me that case because someone donated for that. When she sent me the case, she said, "Oh, this is foul play." Like she sent me this whole thing on foul play.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, okay, well, when I tapped in, I didn't see no perpetrator, and I can't make
yeah.
a perpetrator happen. I immediately saw where he
Yeah.
was.
Mhm.
And so then when I checked the chart, it aligned with I wandering off, disoriented, under the influence, and I have an accident, and I fall
Yeah.
somewhere where no one can find me. And
Right.
literally, I post that, and that's why I like to do the astrology because I could, when I channel and I tell you guys stuff, and you believe me, that's great. But there's people that don't, so I use it for a
Yeah.
validation thing, and I also use it
It's
for my
true.
own doubts. It helps me feel more confident in what I'm releasing
Absolutely.
because when I'm putting stuff out there, like I have a lot that I'll have people come at me right away, like literally on TikTok right away over
Mhm.
Pandora and Evan, like, oh, you can be further from wrong. But when I went back into that, and there's another
Mhm.
case that I was picking up on, and I have a video about that too. I was picking up on this kid that was obsessed with somebody
Mhm.
and ran her over. And it happened right after
Uh-huh.
um Pandora and Evans guy got arrested, and I was
Right.
flip-flopping. He was showing up in the chart as younger, like, because of
Yep.
his mentality. So, it
Mhm.
gets a little confusing
Absolutely.
when I'm picking up prophetic sequencing and there's something that's louder than the case that I'm working on, and I can't control that. But
Absolutely.
a lot of people don't know how it works, and they don't wanna learn how it
Yeah.
works, so the first thing they do is start attacking instead of going and watching the video that I made about how my gifts work because I don't work the same as everybody else. I
Absolutely.
I literally see cases before they happen, and it'll come in with a
Mhm.
similar case. I mean, I even
Yes.
go back to
So
Idaho 4, and some of the names hit cases around the time he was arrested,
it's
so
like, and I think everybody also, like, in the community has experienced that. Like, how many times have we seen Robinson, 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 or yeah, Anderson, Anderson, Anderson? Like, literally, my brain is like programmed now. When I see those words, I'm just like, oh my God. First, like, thing that my eyes pay attention to. It's crazy, but it absolutely. There's so many different synchronicities in that way. Sometimes we see numbers, but sometimes they're also words. We just don't see it in the same sense. And it's crazy how often that happens. So, like Alan, Richard, like all those different, things. But those also are placed that way for a reason too with you, Rochelle, because as you know, those are all kind of like those things that you lock in with your own kind of destiny as to how you're supposed to recognize how to do your work, you know?
Well, and it's helping me grow too because again, it's helping me like listen more to myself instead of everybody else and trust what I'm getting. And when I work by myself and within, I don't have the community noise. I know a lot of people want me to like perform and do the reading and everything, but it's not going to be as accurate. I mean, yes, we've had accurate hits. Like, yes, there's been accurate readings, but there's also been things that like, I've have made it not accurate. And I just don't want to risk that anymore. Plus, I mean, my sitter
Uh-huh.
went rogue, so I that was a whole thing. I'm not gonna ever
Mm.
trust anybody else doing that again. So,
Mhm. Absolutely wild. But that's a story for another day.
yeah.
But but the other thing too is, and it's unfair, and if anybody else in here also has their own channel, they experience the same things. A lot of times when people just want the drama from the true crime, they bounce around from reading to reading for everybody else, and then they want to come in and bring those opinions somewhat from somewhere else into what you've already kind of given a whole entire reading on. And not for nothing, and it has nothing to do with you being right. It has to do with spirit being right, because they're not going to tell you information that is not correct. Period. You might not necessarily understand how to perceive it or how it's supposed to come across, but it's always accurate. And bringing in, oh, well, it must have been Bigfoot that did something, obviously, it doesn't work that way. And it is very aggravating and frustrating, especially when you work so hard at learning stuff. And guys, I can't stress how much more especially recently, going back and over, making sure that everything is very precise and that she's interpreting things the way they're supposed to be interpreted, because there's been so much craziness on the outskirts of everything.
Mhm.
And, it all kind of falls in alignment with all the drama and everything else we went through with, the person that's no longer here. But it takes a toll on somebody that is very, very second guessing anyways. That's like her Aquarius.
Yeah, that's my thing is I second guess because I always have this huge fear of like I'm wrong and then everybody's gonna come after me. Like that's
Yeah.
my biggest fear. So that's why I quadruple check things. I will check the astrology multiple times. I have help with that,
Yep.
but I still do it. I will check the cards. I will do whatever I feel to make it
Absolutely.
the most accurate as possible because I'm not trying to put out some narrative. And the problem
Yep.
with me is too is when I auto write or if I channel a certain way, like again, I start
Mhm.
out wide and I pick up lies and shit, and then I have to bring it in and eventually I'll get the end of it.
All
But
right. And it
Julia,
always uncovers it every time. It always, like, when we talk about fog, Neptune, Mercury retrograde, or whatever, it's like that one, like, crazy moment where, oh my God, okay, now it all makes sense, because it was all perceived around usually drugs, alcohol, like, um, if I can't say that word, I apologize. All the things that would make something totally change the narrative of something to be truthful. All of it. Cheating sometimes, that's included. Like, oh my gosh, okay, that makes sense. Like,
well,
just the things.
going back to people's opinions, like people can have their opinions, but the thing is like this. I don't go to other psychics channels and tell them they're wrong. I would love to, but I don't do that. That's part of the
Right?
respect. So people shouldn't
Absolutely.
come to my channel and be just like, "Well, this is my opinion." I don't care. You can have
Absolutely.
your opinions, but I
Yeah.
don't need to hear your opinions on this because I'm the one sitting with spirit. I'm the one double checking the astrology. Like it's not just what
Yep.
I'm channeling, it's also the astrology. Just like when people come to me and say,
Absolutely.
"Oh, Brian Koberger's innocent," or "Oh, Rick Allen is innocent." No. Nobody's sat down and done the astrology on those guys.
That's when Tracy gets a little salty sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
Nobody gets 95% on a perpetrator for them to be innocent.
And
Nobody
not for
sees the guy
nothing, but
themselves
spirit
there's
doesn't
multiple
even want to
people.
put that influence out there, because they also know, like, if this is what this person's contract was, what he was going to do, that's what he has to fulfill. So whether you want to bring in the Bee Gees, 10 monkeys, whatever, you can do all that. It's not going to change exactly what transpired. And that's his sole contract. Don't try to. and even in the worst case scenarios, when it's that bad, that's why they're here. That's what they do. What they do for is to do that, to fulfill their contracts. So you're not doing them any justice either by saying, "Oh no, no, it's like six other dudes that look just like them." No. And if people understood that a little bit more about why they're here, what their purpose is, I think they would be more open to kind of be like, "Oh, okay, it's kind of sucky, but someone had to do it. But it's all about learning. Every time trauma happens like that, look at how much we're all affected by it. Look at how much we love on these children that go missing or something happens to them. Look at all the different nonprofits and communities of support and everything else that kind of comes out about it. Domestic violence cases, like all these different things that unfortunately happen in these ways make everybody else get bigger, get better, be more helpful, have, find more resources while we're here, and it all comes, as a purpose for everybody. So when Rochelle, when you're saying, it wasn't Donald Duck, it wasn't Donald Duck.
Well, that's the thing too, is like Spirit's not going to fully name a person for
They're
no
not.
reason. They will never. I mean, does anybody realize how hard it is to get
Never,
one name, let
ever,
alone a full name? Like Spirit
never,
doesn't
ever.
give full names. They
Right.
just don't.
No, they won't. And
That's
they
a
don't
gift,
want it.
and so we're
It's such a
people
gift because you know
perpetuate.
what the narrative happens with that is, look at that case in particular, because so many people try to influence somebody else. It was somebody else. It was somebody else. That was given to you for a very specific reason, because that's exactly the kind of like fog that was going to happen around it. And you have to be like, you know what? I don't think that the police had a hard time believing that it was him. Like, I don't think so, you know, and it kind of goes hand in hand probably with his personality that they see often with these kinds of crimes and these kinds of
Well,
people.
people
It,
go deep diving and seeing like the real truth out there, and like you have people literally arguing on BK with validation videos, like telling me they couldn't place him at the house. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Nobody's going to agree to plead guilty to that kind of a crime. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Y-
don't
y-
understand it, but
what
it is
kind
what
of fool would want that kind of life for the rest of however long he's going to be there, to be tortured, tormented, have nightmares about it? Like,
he can't even
nobody's
handle
going to
it
do
now.
that.
He's
Yeah,
bitching and
no one's
complaining
going to
about
do
it.
that, because once he realized it wasn't about the fame and everybody, the glory, because he was idolizing somebody that everybody else responded very different to. He was not the same person.
Well,
He
it
tried to
goes to
be.
the psychology too. If people really
Mhm.
can't look at someone and see the psychology, see what he had on his computer, see how he
Mhm.
talked with his mom,
Right.
see how he was, like if you can't see it there's someone's psychology like that and see that they're capable of something like this, just because they
Yeah.
look normal doesn't mean anything. We walk by killers every day.
No, he don't look normal to me. And unfortunately, and kind of, in a joke kind of way, we both know that Ted was not impressed with the things that he did. And, at least if you're going to try to mentor or whatever, like in that way, at least be able to pull it off. And he didn't. And that kind of saltiness can come just to, break the monotony sometimes.
Well,
But,
his ego, he wanted to be better. That's what it was.
and he failed. He failed. And think about like and I know that there are other things that have to come about because of this, but if you think about a person in that capacity that has an ego like that, to even try to walk in the shoes of somebody who has been a masterful serial killer. This man was so charming, like we talked about. Like I'd like carry him over to the car, take all his things, put it and drive him wherever he, like, that's how charismatic he was. Like,
Yeah.
that's the manipulation part of it. And this person had none of that. Like, girls were running away like he had cooties. Like, no thanks, you're weird, bye. And when you can feel like somebody's energy to be so off like that and off-putting, that is a big, like, hello, hello. No
Yeah, I
other
don't know. Some of these
vehicle.
people need discernment, but
Totally,
I don't
totally.
know. Just I think the biggest thing too is like everybody is so focused on the stupid effing drama and everything else that they forget about Summer.
They
They
totally,
forget about the victims. And
totally.
even like how much do they talk about Brian Koberger compared to the victims? now.
Absolutely.
They get lost in it, and just
They
like all
do.
the drama that's happening with Summer, when is everybody really they're just I don't know, it's just weird to me that people
It's
take things
very
and they run
sad.
with them, whatever someone says, it's like,
Yeah,
"Oh my gosh, it must be true," and there's ethics to doing this work, and psychic when you're a
absolutely.
psychic medium and you're working in true crime, there's ethics, and there's people out there that don't have those ethics.
And they absolutely don't. And, we both kind of like have seen a pattern of once people kind of focus in on something and get really good at talking about it, that's how they make their money, And I know as my own person and my own experience from a good friend of mine that lost one of her cousins before she was even born, like there was someone that came along and made a documentary about it, which totally had not even accurate information in it to begin with. But everything about his own, like his soul, his physical body, his name, all of a sudden belonged to this supposed girl that he had a crush on in school or whatever because she made the documentary. Like his own family didn't even have rights to his own name, and that all kind of got swept away from them, and it's very sad to see that happen because no parent should ever have to go through that and have everybody else going, oh, sorry, because they're treating that like a possession instead of focusing on what really needs to happen. And if the case might have been able to get solved 5 years ago, whatever, when, like, what was it, 2021? um think about how long people have she has siblings, her siblings have never been able to really heal from any of this. They probably love her, they miss her. I know there's a lot of adults that cared for her at some point that really adored her and would, take her in if that was the only option that they had. There's a lot of broken hearts out there about this, and that's what happens with the collective, with everybody that cares about a beautiful child that goes missing or something tragic happens, and I don't know why people want to kind of push that kind of thing because think about how, and as many as there are for true crime members that, kind of like, okay, the next one. The psychology sometimes is fascinating, but when you think about being um, just exposed to that constantly and you're always seeing all the bad stuff that's happening in the world, you're not focusing on any of the good stuff. And even like with case, like, just think the beautifulness of Summer saying to her mom, like, mom, I love you, I forgive you. That is huge. And you're talking about this little girl and her soul needs to transition the way that it needs to, and her, she needs to heal, and her mom needs to heal, her brothers need to heal, her dad like a whole community of people and even across the world need to heal over what this little girl brings to the table. And none of it's happening if they just keep bringing in the, oh, well, last time somebody that Friday and he had a toothpick and had a cowboy hat on, and that's just nonsense. Everybody's forgetting about who this beautiful girl is and what she represents to teach all of us at the end of the day,
Well, there's none of that on the other side anyways. There's no blame or anything, and it's not holding her
Nope.
back, but it's something that she needed to say but the thing
Mhm.
is, unfortunately, narcissists or moms that are selfish that don't want to get in trouble, they will not say anything
No.
because, they'll deal with the guilt. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, I think it's really taking a toll on somebody right now,
Yeah.
the
Me
guilt
too.
and the knowing, but at the same time, her not wanting to go to jail for covering something up, which is
And
sad.
it is very sad because if it would have been handled differently from the very beginning, maybe it wouldn't have gone down that way. And, I understand people get in trouble. People like, some parents just are too overwhelmed to be good parents. They don't have the skills. They don't have the, but if you think about in a case that resonates with, they've already had one other person in their family go missing. Like, what is it that they're trying to do? What are they trying to heal? What are they trying to break free from in their cycle? And I think that is a big part of what we often forget, especially with the recurrences of these types of situations. If it, hopefully it brings more awareness to kids that are in crisis. Hopefully it gets parents better tools and resources to become better parents. Overall, there's a much bigger picture, but we need to stay clear of, it's Ben Hill, Van Hill, whatever Hill, Bunny Hill. All of that doesn't matter at the end of the day. And whatever they're trying to focus on, I think, is a bunch of just more added drama to kind of, and it could be deflection as well because now they're getting a little bit closer to the story. Who knows?
Yeah,
But
well, not every story has an outside villain.
no, they don't. They absolutely don't. And, if it's an accident, it doesn't mean that that person's a villain either. An accident is an accident. But
She got over
when it
emotional, you
when it
know?
becomes that you're trying to cover up that fact because you're afraid of being in trouble more so than you already are, think about that dynamic and think about putting fear in parents. If, oh my God, if something happens to your child, they're automatically going to assume that I had something to do with it. You got to wipe that narrative away. An accident is an accident. And, not there's a lot of people that get CPS called on them. They get their kids taken away. And it's not a fun process to go through. And just, I think having that overline or over kind of person that determines whether or not your kid's staying or going or whatever, that's a horrible way to live. It's a horrible fear to live that way. It's nothing that anybody's going to be able to improve unless they start making improvements on, what happens with parents, giving them more skills, giving them more resources. And, an accident is an accident. If it's an accident, don't put fear into them if they're not going to be able to come forward, and just doesn't really help anybody.
Sorry, dogs were freaking out. Oh, does anybody want us to the chat's very quiet. Does anybody want to have any questions or talk about anything in the chat? It's very quiet.
I can't see it because I'm blind, so
Yeah.
I see
Well,
some little bubbles. I see bubbles, but um, the other thing too that I want to bring back around is the fact that, feeling like a lot of people within the community feel very detached or not very inclusive in the cases because we did talk a lot about them online before. There's more community chat, there's more things going on behind the scenes and stuff. And, that's obviously not, Rochelle's intention for any of that, but also she needs to heal from all this kind of like really hard trauma that kind of hit her, and it's such a really real way. um it's a lot when you, and everybody probably has had the same experience as going through thinking somebody, and then all of a sudden the mask comes off and you're in a tornado full of, oh my God, what the heck just happened? I have no idea. And one kind of thing that we should more focus on nowadays, because we're much older and we're supposed to be learning, is that, just be authentic, be who you are. And that was another thing that kind of got brought up in one of the comments was about, they kind of accused Rochelle of not being authentic. And, you know, it's been really hard to kind of sit back here and watch like the stuff that happens and everything. And I know Rochelle's been authentic with me. If she's having a hard time kind of transitioning that back outward, then don't take it like as in a sense that she's not doing things different to just, not want to deal with anybody or want to hide, not telling you the truth. Like all this stuff is growth, all this stuff is healing from that, and all of this is kind of like learning how to read, kind of do this stuff a different way. And I
Yeah,
hope
because I'm not one, my gifts don't everybody's gifts works differently, and mine don't work
yeah,
to just sit and channel by myself. Sometimes I'll get hits off the cards or whatever, but
yeah,
I have to have energy to bounce off of or whatever, you know. It
absolutely.
doesn't work like that for me because I
But
read differently and I'm a
you,
different type of.
you do read differently, but you also, there's nothing like, I don't want people to think also that she's not authentic by the sense that, oh, well, she's just sitting at home alone, just doing all this stuff, must be talking to aliens, whatever. It's just like, there's still authenticity in it. It's just maybe the delivery is a little bit different and stuff like that. It's just kind of adjusting and going through all this stuff. But I can tell you, and we've had many conversations and many cases, that we'll just be having conversations, and all of a sudden she's like, "Oh my God, you just totally triggered something in my brain." I was like, "What?" And she'll randomly just throw a case out there or whatever, or we'll be talking about the same case, and it's like, "Oh my gosh, like that just came through just like that." And it's, you know, also not having the fear that the bleed through is going to come, or there's going to be a repercussion because someone's not going to agree with something. We can all choose agree to disagree or whatever. But I think as far as being able to kind of like do this kind of thing, and reconnect with everybody, just kind of like, we want to know how everybody's like going through all this drama. How are you, like, what are you hearing? What are you feeling? Like, is this not just chaos and craziness? Or are we just in a, well, Rochelle and I are in a different timeline
Well,
anyways, but
no, you came with me.
I
I
know,
mean,
right?
it's a fixed sign. It's a fixed sign case, so there is going to be the drama. Sebastian's a fixed sign case. There's going to be drama. Jack and Lily, drama. But Jack and Lily has heavy Neptune. That's why I have a hard time seeing that one. It's my kryptonite.
Yeah.
But
I think
you know,
everybody's had a hard time seeing that. This just, that whole case is just,
well, I know what happened. I couldn't see the area as clear as I would like to. So, and that's another thing. When I get on
yeah,
a map, I kind of get pulled everywhere. Actually, when we were doing
it's
our
horrible.
Asha degree, yeah, I actually Asha degree, I actually am going to release that because I did more work on it. We did it in class with Trista, and I was looking at the map,
Yeah.
and I ended up kind of getting pulled in this one direction, and I was like pulled to the King's Reservoir out there, and I was like, well, why am I pulled over here? And it was because the perpetrator's house was very close to there. But had I
Hmm.
have not looked and seen where the perpetrator's house was, I wouldn't have known
Right.
that that's where
Just
it
like
was.
that word again, the king word had come in very simultaneously during that moment too, which is, you know, that's another crazy thing about with Rochelle and these different things, because it's just the resonances of where certain things lie, whether it be in the codings and the imprints or whatever, because it just depends on what the case is. It depends on what their archetypes are, what their personalities are, the victimology, like everything. And it's not always the same like set of rules, I think is a way to explain it sometimes, because
Yeah.
you do work very differently. Like the other night on the live zone was like all these piggybacks are coming in, you're like, oh, who it like I swear to God, person after person after person. Oh, that's for me, that's my Uncle Joe, that's this one.
Well,
And I'm going, holy
and I
cow.
kind of learned too that what that was when I could feel people on the other screen when I'm picking up their elements at the same time. It's clear empathy. It's clear
Mm-hmm.
empathetic. So I'm literally that's why I always tell people like I'll pick up like your pain or if you took a pill or whatever. At the same
Yep.
time, I'm picking up spirit. So I'm picking up
Exactly.
spirit. So that was a little confusing, but apparently, a lot
Yep.
some mediums are like that when they have a wide antenna, and that's my problem is I have a wide antenna, and that's where the whole prophetic sequencing comes in and the pattern recognition. Like literally when I was
Yep.
working Ashta Decree, I was seeing the what was that place called that we think Melody was at one point?
Oh, you had to bring that up right now.
I
Um,
can't.
I know I can't think of it off the top of my head, but that's going to be another bizarre thing too,
I
because
saw that in there and I was drawn to it, and then it ended up the
mm,
Zion. And then
that's
ended
it.
up being the Zion, yeah, where the astrology
Mm,
was going. So, but
that's crazy.
that if she's moving, like if she's being moved
Mm,
around, I can't track her
mm.
like that. If she's being moved around, but
Yeah,
all I know is the end result is she'll eventually get turned in somewhere. That's
yeah,
the end
yeah.
result for that. Like sometimes I'll switch over to what the end result is, and
Mhm.
usually if I see the end result as being something, then it's literally written in my chart. Which the other astrologist that came on, when we went over mine and Ted's chart, had brought that up. Like if I say a date or something, it's usually gonna match because I'm reading timelines. That's why like a
Which
lot
is
of
why
my
November
predictions
13th
fit.
is like, do you guys even know? Like, Rochelle had to start her new channel at some point when the other one got taken over, whatever. And I happened to look at it one day. It was November 13th. And when she was doing all the Idaho stuff and just kind of like, I went back and I'm like, you know what's really weird is because that was kind of a thing where that's when everything was going viral, everything was blowing up. And I'm like, do you even realize that you started your new channel on November 13th? She's like, I did? I'm like, yeah. I sent her the screenshot. She's like, oh my gosh. Like,
And then I
that
jumped
is so
timelines
crazy.
November 13th. So
Yep.
about
It's
every 2
crazy.
years on November 13th.
It is. And I apologize because I cannot read any of these. I cannot see at all.
Yeah, I
As
don't
you can
work
see
with
on my
other,
screen.
and no matter how good another reader is, I just don't work with other readers. I have my reasons for doing that.
And this
I
is
don't
kind of
collab
like
with people.
where she needs to like be right now in the moment. I mean, I don't think
I
she
don't
because
trust people either.
right. And when I even suggested any, I'm like, I know that you're like not really liking anybody at the moment
I
when it
can't hear
comes
you.
to like it. Oh, I when we were talking about doing this today, and I was like, well, I mean, I know that you have a hard time
You're
trusting
gone
people.
again. You can't hear you. You're every time you talk, your volume goes out.
Travis, oh, probably Travis, friggin' telling me to shut up. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
No.
now I can.
Okay, no, it's probably my friend Travis. So his birthday's tomorrow.
Oh.
He's telling me to shut up. That's basically what he's doing. No joke.
It's just interference, spirit interference.
I know. Like I said, it's Travis. He's telling me to shut up. But if you guys are more open to this kind of thing too, I mean, this is kind of a nice place to just chat about stuff and put your input on about different, if especially with what we kind of lost from all these cases is taking away, I guess, and the empathy and the sympathy and just everybody that's affected by it goes through their own process as well, and we all kind of need to work through that because sometimes it's very overwhelming. It's very sad. Like, I think Elijah was one of those kids that really tore on all of our heartstrings, took it very personal. It was kind of like you can picture them as your own children and you can't fathom why something would happen to them in that way, and we all can kind of go and lean on each other to kind of get through it. So,
You,
that I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna tell her she doesn't have to hush. That's the whole point of this. I appreciate that, that you feel that way. So you don't ever think you have to hush. This is supposed to be a community. So I understand what you're saying.
Exactly.
I don't work with others for, you know, different reasons.
Yep. Well, and
And I just can't. I have to trust my channel and keep my channel clean. It doesn't matter how good somebody else
yeah.
is. I just that's how I have to work.
And sometimes that can be very fascinating also. And a lot of other mediums don't do that either because they also have to protect their own energy, their own boundaries, and things like that. Because what other people don't often realize is that the energies that go even in our own person, that stuff can go and impact another person just as easily.
Yeah.
And you don't want to mess with that kind of stuff,
Well, that's why
when you
if you look at all the true crime mediums, none of them work with anybody else.
no, they don't really.
Shank,
Yeah.
who
Even at
else?
like fairs and stuff, they're like, you stay over there with your crystal ball.
Yeah,
I'll stay
none
over
of the true crime
there.
mediums work together. There's
Yeah. No, they
reasons
don't.
for it.
Yeah. I mean, they can use each other kind of like mentors and maybe get some insight too, to maybe build up on something if they're kind of having a struggle because not everybody gets the same information either. And if
Mhm.
they're hitting a roadblock, they might say, hey, I'm kind of like stuck with this right here. And I'm thinking, I get a pull towards this, but I'm not quite sure. Have you tapped into it at all? That's one thing. But, in the psychic world too, and mediumships, it's like hardcore crap, you don't, you have to have such a high regard and respect because you're not just for the other people, but also for spirit and the ethics that go in with everything. And there's sometimes people will cross those lines and we're like, that's not in the handbook of things that you're supposed to
Yeah,
do.
no, you're right. Trash talk, Tarot. Like for legit, like there's some people that aren't ethical about this work. Like I try to be as
Yeah,
ethical as I can. I'm very sensitive with
absolutely.
how I describe things. Like that's how you're supposed to be.
Yes.
Spirit, real spirit is not gory. They are not that's not
No,
how they communicate.
and they
And
don't.
yeah.
They
And I'm very,
definitely won't.
spirit trusts to come to me, or they wouldn't.
Hmm.
Um, I
Yep,
wouldn't
that's
get the
another
hits that I
thing.
get and the accuracy I get. Actually, I have to watch the Murdoch. I need to find out. Somebody commented on the Murdoch thing and said that said that I hit a lot from that documentary, and I don't even know because I don't even remember.
I
So I
watched
need
like all like 20,000 of them, and I think I told you from the very beginning. I was like, "Oh my
you're
God."
gonna have to go back and watch my reading then, and tell me what I need to
So
validate.
very, so very accurate. I think it's just even the sequences of the movements for people during the day and things like that. And
And
um,
I think like him walking them down there was more of a symbolic thing. Like, as I saw it, like he was getting from rooms like to walk them down there symbolically. Because
yes
somebody
and
told me
no,
he
because
didn't do that.
I'm not quite sure if there's that much truth in it, because there's been different narratives about how that all kind of came about. And there are parts of where he did go down and he walked with them. There are parts because they went to go check on the dog, they went to do all these different things. Then he went back, then he came back, I think after he went to his mom's or whatever. So there, and you have to also remember during all of this, he was very high on opioids and things like that. So he doesn't have a solid memory of everything that happened either. But I do think that because he planned it, he premeditated it. And I think that's kind of like the symbolism for that, almost like
Yeah.
he already was gonna do what he was gonna
That's what I'm
do.
thinking. Like he took them down there on purpose, and that's what the symbolism was. Not that he necessarily did
Well,
it by accident,
actually,
but
he called them to come back because his dad had passed away or was gonna pass away, I believe. And they
yeah.
were in their other vacation home or whatever. He called and like begged her to come home. Totally begged her to come home.
I
And
mean, I know I got where they were hit at because people were validating that, but that's about all I know. I don't know
yeah.
anything about that. I don't really go back to my my readings. I know 4 was the first time I went back and went over them. I was like, "Oh,
No, but I think also because there wasn't all that kind of like formal information out in public either when you
yeah,
did the reading. I think it was just more of a sense where it was just information provided to validate what had happened to them, and that's all that it was. It didn't have to
yeah,
be all, systematically gory and have nightmares and tremors for 20 more years because, and that's another thing about ethics with being a psychic and a medium is that you need to make sure not just yourself, but your audience, your respect for spirit, your respect for the loved ones. There are things that go against, and you will be reminded that you do not cross certain lines. And once that happens, and I don't know if other people have noticed this, but things will start to change. There will be information that will no longer be able to be received. And that dynamic comes in when they'll start losing the ability to be that voice for somebody because it will get taken away.
well,
And, you know,
the thing is like if you're a real psychic, why do you need to go and investigate and ask questions with people and you don't? Just
well,
saying.
yeah,
You're really
no,
getting psychic information. Like, do you guys see me do that? I ain't going like to all these cases and interviewing people. Like, I don't need to.
no,
I
you
trust my
don't.
tools. That's it. Period.
Absolutely. And,
Not an
and
investigator
well, I mean,
like that.
in that sense, that would be one thing, but where this is different. But just look at the path that now it's leading down on, because it's potential that something had come from a lead that somebody provided or whatever, when it's not factual information, or you get it from somebody that's already proven that they don't have a great track record of being honest. Let's just say he's been involved from the very get-go, all the deflection and everything else going in opposite directions. And it's like, not to mention that just because they might not like a certain person doesn't mean that they don't have great families. Some of them have great families. They just don't really associate with them on that level. They kind of remove themselves. They're successful. They don't need that kind of like nonsense in their life. And now
Yeah.
you bring in nonsense to their own door. And it's like, hold up a minute, because I thought we already cleared this up before. And this is the part of other people, with the clout and everything else, just trying to make it more relevant. Oh, but I have a secret recording, blah, 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 blah. Like, they should have already vetted all this stuff a long time ago. There's no need for all this added baloney. And
Well, everybody jumps to conclusions that, oh my gosh, it has to do with summer. I mean, Dawn called it in.
we've been saying that since the
Just
get-go.
saying. It
Just
could have to do with
saying.
a lot of other things.
There's a lot that
And he's
happened up
always
in that
pushed
area.
that narrative too, which
Yep.
is
And he would like nothing more for those particular people to go down for that either.
there's nothing to indicate anything in the chart at all that she was taken by someone random. There's nothing. It's all
Well, I think,
emotional, accidental markers.
yeah. And,
Accident cover up. Just like Sebastian has the
yeah.
same one. Accident cover up.
Yep. And again, it goes to another child that has not been like very vocal about wanting to kind of put his stuff out there because he doesn't. It's kind of the same way, when you're in you're in spirit, you don't have blame towards somebody. You just want, I love you, and hope that they can be forgiven or forgive themselves, and move on from that. They don't have bad things to say about their parents. They don't have bad things to say about the people that raised them or cared about them either. Even though they might have not be the nicest people, they're not going to communicate that necessarily in the
Yeah.
way that we're human, so we're affected by those things, but they're not. Like, they move past that, they have peace, they're okay. So that's, I think, something everybody should kind of keep in the back of their minds when they start talking about this stuff. And, it's okay to kind of speak your mind too and say, it's okay if people don't want to believe in whatever. That's fine. You don't have to believe it. But also throw in the spirituality aspect of it, that these are all about souls. These are all about the stories, the voices that they don't have any longer. It's not about driving up, oh, look at this posse over here that is literally they what gang stalk on other people and they don't believe like the same ways, and that's not being a good human. It's not being good. And same thing with this community. It's okay if you don't have the same. Okay, well, unless you're willing to sit there and openly meditate or try to channel it yourself, you're not going to have a good argument.
I know that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what kind of gets annoying when people come and they're like, "You're wrong about Madeline McCann. You're wrong about John Bonet. You're wrong about blah blah blah." And it's like, are you the one sitting here doing the work and looking at the astrology and doing all this? Like, no. Like, you can
Uh-huh.
have your opinions, but
Yeah,
opinions are
absolutely.
different than like the truth.
Absolutely.
If I don't come to someone's channel and just start, oh, I know better
Yeah.
than you do. No,
Yeah, no, that it's
I
not
don't do that. There's lots of people I would like to go do that too, and I don't.
right. We have great
It's
emojis
not
for that
ethical.
though. It's not. It really, and you know what? Not for nothing, but everybody who's kind of like been doing that for a while, spirit comes in different ways to everybody.
Yeah.
You're not always going to get the same kind of information. Sometimes, if it's that much a poignant of a point, you can get, similar or spot on. It doesn't matter when you're trying to identify something. But when it comes to everything else, the messages come differently to each and every individual, because anybody that's born with gifts, the reason why they have those gifts is because that's all part of what goes into the healing process
Mhm.
afterwards. They all have their own individual stuff, their own ways to reach out to people or to comfort people, or just to make everything kind of come to a close. And everybody's, just respect everything on their own back, except when they want to start throwing out weird, there's nothing about like the horrible, like the graphic things, any of that is not the right, like the not the right mindset to be sharing with people. And it's very traumatizing for everybody, not just the families. It's for everybody that's exposed.
Yeah.
And because, like you said, Rochelle, spirit is not going to give those messages. They don't want their families, they don't want their friends, they don't want any of them to be traumatized.
Yeah, they're
They're
not gonna
okay.
give traumatizing or gore
Yeah.
or, gory messages. They just don't. Have you guys ever seen me do that? I mean, yeah, I see
Mhm.
things, but I don't. It's more of like what happened, but it's not into a graphic manner. And
Yeah,
then when
no.
you describe it, you have to be very sensitive in how you're doing it. You have to treat it like you're the one receiving the information from
Yep.
somebody. And
You
how would
gotta
you
go.
want to deal with it? Like, they're already traumatized. They don't need to know, like, that's why I say I always try to be
Mhm.
gentle with everything that I say and the
Yeah.
way that I say it. you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that goes to, also just having the respect for, spirit in
Yeah,
that
that's
way
kind
too.
of what we're talking about, Ray, True Colors. That's basically what we're talking about without talking about it.
I wish I could read the comments and reply.
Especially Dee's and what she saw.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, and it's hard because, part of being ethical is also not, you're not going to go and attack somebody else just because of whatever they perceive and whatever information that's their own path to go down.
It
It's, you know, but it is kind of like traumatizing, terrifying, and it's unethical, and it makes it harder for everybody else that it is very ethical, very moral, and they are here for the right reasons. And then you have other people that find out, oh well, look at this. I mean, they went on a rampage for like 2 weeks straight. I don't know if they still are, but and I think because what most people don't know is a few weeks back further, I was like, Rochelle, something's going on. It's really strange. Like, and it
I'm
kept building
surprised
up
you
and
could
building
anyway.
up, building up and building. And it was driving me nuts. And I'm like, I just don't even know like what to do with. Like, I can't. But something's happening because yeah, she already had her rodeo with people wanting to beat up on her and things like that, but not to this degree, I guess is fair to say, because you're only talking about it starting from one instance of one situation and one case for you because somebody else was butthurt about it, whatever. But this is something entirely different on a whole other level. And when you're kind of showing your audience your true colors and they're all like, oh my God, like swearing like a sailor like that, like I my spirit guides would have been bitch slap me till come, hell and high water, throwing me in a stupid lava bank or whatever, being like, "Who do you think you are? Where are you coming from? Because that is not how we talk. Not how we talk at all. You're also a representation of everything that you're allowed to participate in. You know, when you have these gifts, you use them because they're gifts. You don't use them to go be F this, F that, but like this. And anybody that acts like that is an unhealed person from a very similar trauma, or they're still experiencing their own traumas of whatever else is being triggered. And nobody that is like that in that situation should ever be doing mediumship. Not at that level.
Well,
That's my own personal
Trash Talk
opinion.
Hero, I was gonna say, because she's leaving. Thank you for being here. I appreciate
Yeah.
you. And yeah, I mean, people that are in this vibration can't listen to that vibration. I hate to say it, but like I can't. That's why I get frustrated because people say that I copy her. I'm like, dude, I can't even listen to her for two. Like, I am allergic to the bullshit. I am
Oh, I
allergic
just got
to
tickled
bullshit,
on
and
my
I'm
legs.
allergic to that, to everything about that.
Very true.
You
Because
know, I could never watch her even if I wanted to, and like
no,
timestamps speak for themselves. We don't even work the same
yeah,
cases. Like,
no,
and Idaho 4, we got nothing the same, but for some reason she attacked me like saying I copied everything she done. Like, what? Like, I did my live before you. What are you talking about, girl? Like, I never said
yeah,
Goldberger had red hair. So,
nope. And his name was
and I
Jeff.
never
Like
pointed
you never
fingers
said
at
that.
Jack either. So,
Exactly. Exactly. And that's just all that is doing is putting out your own narrative of what you want people to believe because that's where your mind is going. And, there are also people that become victims of crimes because of people like this that insinuate and put so much pressure on somebody and making them look like a criminal or they're guilty of something when they're not. Some of these people have had their lives ruined, like
you gotta be
completely.
careful when you mention people. Like, it has to be on alleged. Like, this is like, you can't just be like, yep, he did it for sure. That's the problem. I mean,
Unless God
remember what
talks to
happened
you
with the
and says
bakery?
first and last name. Yes, exactly.
Remember
They
what happened with
ruin
the
their
bakery that got shut
businesses.
down?
Yeah. Even the
Like, that's
restaurant, I
what you
think at
don't
some
do.
point, yeah, the restaurant had kind of like they were like, we don't need this negative publicity from all this
I
stuff. And
I don't understand it. Trash talk. Like, honestly, I don't. People compare us, and I'm like, no, do not do that.
yeah,
We are
no,
nothing alike.
no, no, nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. And and it's one thing, also because there are things like when you're being attacked personally and you've gone to the point where it doesn't matter what you do, it's not pleasing anybody anymore. but you don't have to continue the attacks and the attacks and the attacks. But most times, like, and I'm just speaking from my own observations, when it becomes personal because they don't happen to like your personality, or they don't like the way you use your tone, or they don't like any of these things. They're not looking at the bigger picture. And one of my first things, and it's not to enable anybody, but an Aquarius personality is very tough sometimes. They have a lot of passion underneath. And when you're trying to shut off your ego from what you get from spirit, is not always an easy place to be, especially when your spirit guides are on the same level. Like,
Well,
they're
we
all
get
on the
very
same
defensive
vibration.
over our gifts. So when people come at us and
Yep.
we're gonna respond and tell it how it is because that's who we are. Like, you're gonna attack the reading or my gifts, like, you shouldn't have said fucking anything to me. If you don't want
Exactly.
the real me and how I feel, then don't come at me first.
Exactly. And it is very personal sometimes. And it's hard when you constantly are getting that punching bag after a bit, You can only take so much. Any human being can only take so much criticism or anything like that without a positive outcome. After a while, it's like, okay, well, you know what? Nobody wants nothing. See ya.
Sometimes I reply and then I delete my reply just so I feel better, and then I mute it.
Uh-huh.
'Cause Aquarius,
Yeah,
we've got to have the last word sometimes. It's just the way
absolutely.
I've got heavy Aquarius in my chart, so like
She's got like double, triple Aquarius when it
I'll
comes
tell
to,
you.
oh, really? Who's gonna get the last word? But that's just part of her personality and why I
That's
love
who
her.
I have
So,
to
yeah,
be though.
it
Like,
is.
because I have to be like, no,
Yeah,
this is how it is.
yeah,
Like, I have
absolutely.
to be I am pushing for the voices of them, and I have to be just like, no, this is how it is. It's not like that. And
Yep.
that's the thing that pisses me off with Summer, is all these narratives going around, and that's not what
Yeah,
happened.
it's not. It
And you're
really
pointing
isn't.
fingers at someone that wasn't involved. Maybe they know something, but
Yeah,
they
I
weren't
think
involved in taking her. There's no outside influence in her chart, in my vision,
no.
nothing. There's never has been. The one thing, regardless of whatever I've seen around it, has always been Summer running, Summer running, Summer running, her mom having an emotional outburst,
Yeah,
Summer falling, hitting her head, and that's it. Then I think we figured out last night she probably laid her down somewhere, thinking she'd be okay.
yeah,
She passed away. She freaked out, and then it goes blank, and then
yeah,
I'm falling into the ravine, so,
yeah.
or hollow, or whatever it is. So
Right.
it's and which aligns completely with the chart. So it's I'm
Mm-hmm.
not seeing that part because she was unconscious during that time, you know.
Yep.
And somebody else's motives are taking, like, somebody else is taking
Yeah.
over. And I'll only see in the perpetrator or the person that's involved if spirit wants to put me in their body and let me see that. I can't
Right.
I experienced it from Summer's viewpoint
Exactly. And you know
because
what
I
too?
would see the way that Candy was coming
Right.
at me, and I was running,
Absolutely.
so I was actually seeing it from her viewpoint, not from any other viewpoint.
Right.
Sometimes for a third person, but mostly it's her. And then the astrology literally aligns. Like, there's no trafficking, there's no
Yeah.
perpetrator, there's nothing like that.
You did it like 3 times. No, but you know what? Going
I
back
did
to
it
that
multiple
old
times
point
because
of
before I ever
yeah,
call in anything, I have to make
right.
sure. And whenever I do call in something, I have to, I can't say I'm a psychic, period. You
No,
know,
he's not.
so
They'll be like, next.
yeah, so I called in a tip
Yeah,
and I said, look, you need to go here, here, and here and check this out. It's just an area you guys need to check out. I didn't point names. I didn't, point
right.
fingers. I didn't say names. I didn't say what happened. I just said, this is an area I think you guys should look at.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. And we
that's
were
the first
hoping
time
that
I've ever
information
called.
would have got there
Well,
sooner, but
I called
yeah,
Jack and Lily, but I kind of screwed that call up. But this is the first time I've ever called,
yeah.
and
No,
I
I
just
mean,
go over with it.
be brave enough to do it. And you know what? If they laugh at you or they call you back
Well,
and be like, you're totally off, at least you have that connection. Now you know
I would
you're
only
able to
call
talk.
if I felt like
Right.
100% sure. And I
Yeah.
get irritated because there is somebody that knows exactly where I'm talking about. They've told me it exists in that specific area where the astrology goes, and they
Yeah.
won't look at it. And I get pissed off because I know that's where she's at. Like, I just feel that's where she's at so strongly. And
Uh-huh.
I keep getting ignored,
I
and
know.
everybody's going in other directions, and I can't watch it. I'm just like, I can't watch this because it's driving me crazy.
Or
Because
it's the
like,
excuses, well, that's private property. Well, nobody has a problem going on private property or whatever when you want to sit there and, make it look like a big scene to get your ex-boyfriend upset at you or whatever. Like, they don't have problems with all these different
it's
morals
acreage
and
though. It's
things.
not like it's sitting right by a house. And I'm sure if you go and you ask somebody, "Hey, can we check this out?" They're not going to say
Right?
no. Because the
Or if
police
all of a sudden say you have a dog that actually can go out there or whatever. Oh my God, he just got loose. Where's he going? Like, things happen. You know what I'm saying?
well,
And
there's a will and there's a way, but
yeah, and they've been very open to allowing
and it's
this.
not the only time I've gotten that. Not only has the astrology sent me there,
Yeah.
my pendulum went by there. He even told me, "Do you know that's by where your pendulum went?" No.
Yeah, I think that's where
"Do you
you
know
get
that's where you're
sick on
pointing
the
to
nut
before?"
too.
No. So several
I know,
different times
right?
I went to the same place. Like I have
I
rechecked this
know.
place a million times.
Is there a Robinson or an Anderson there? Oh,
Well, no, the
a
thing
Rick?
is if you think about it, it makes sense. They could easily
Yeah.
stay still.
Well,
So
you know what?
if you think about it, it doesn't make any sense for her to be buried anywhere because
No,
then they're
no.
gonna know she's involved, right? Allegedly, or that something happened. But if they put her someplace where she could fall in naturally,
Yes, but also I believe it kind of goes with Don's beliefs and what his religion is because I think he already came to the comfort that she was already gone and there's no need to do all that. They're a very like a lot of that stuff is very based on the culture of what they kind of practice in their own religions, and some of them are very different. And
but they said
it's
she ran off, right? So they said she ran off or she went missing. Where's the best place to put her? In a place she's
well,
gonna fall down into
yeah, well,
and not be
she
found
got
because no one's
she got
taking her.
kidnapped. I think it was she got kidnapped or taken
Well,
was
no,
what
he said
they were.
trafficking, but before when Candace
Yeah.
called, it was like, I don't know where she is.
Well, she wasn't lying. She did run off,
Yeah, but you know what I mean?
and
That was
it's
the
very
original
telling that she
story.
says that. Yeah, but it's very telling that she says that, but I think also it's very sad because had she known that Summer was in that kind of a struggle and it was that serious, it might have been different.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the guilt comes in. And it's very sad. It's very, very sad. But it's also their, karmic thing together. And, I think what Summer brings to a lot of people is just the fact that, they've seen a little bit in pieces of her life, but so many people have come to love her. And she's just like somebody that has shown no matter what circumstances. I mean, we've all seen what their home looked like, what their lives look like, the craziness and everything else. And at the end of the day, this is a little girl that just loved her family, loves her mom, loves her dad, and it's just pulled on the heartstrings of so many people within the world, and that kind of shows you like, oh my gosh, like think about the qualities of a human being that can feel like that so deeply. And that's just kind of her job.
Mhm.
It's pretty beautiful. It's just pretty beautiful, and they don't get jaded and they don't get salty and all those other things. If anything, she's more of a comedian in my opinion. She's like very sassy and
She's an
she knows like
Aquarius.
her place. She's like the princess, like she knows.
She's
Like
an Aquarius.
I know we were talking about that yesterday. Remember, I was like, "Oh, she totally knows. She knows where she knows." Yep,
She
I do believe, and
I
as
think her
much as
birthday's like the 6th, like 6 days before mine or something like
oh
that.
wow, oh
Yeah.
beautiful, that's
So if
beautiful.
she's found in February by her, by her soul,
Yeah,
what do you call it? By her a lot of people
her
are found
soul
by
like it was soul
they either
cycle.
pass
That's
by
what it
their
was.
birthday or they're found by their birthday. There's
Yeah,
sometimes a birthday. I mean, I think Celeste was found close to her birthday, wasn't she? She
yeah.
was found
Well,
like
a
right
lot of
after
people
her birthday
also
or something.
they
Yeah.
naturally pass away close to their birthdays. It's very crazy,
Sometimes
like
people
kind of
do, yeah.
crazy. Yeah,
There's a soul return,
absolutely.
you know.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
February is looking pretty good for her for the fixed
Yeah.
sign cases for something to move in February. So, that would
Yeah.
be her and Sebastian and
Yeah, it would be nice for both
Jack
of
and
them.
Lily, but
You know?
specifically her,
Yeah.
specifically Summer for February.
It would be
So
nice for all that because it shuts the drama down. It shuts all that craziness down because people have just gone off the rails and there's no need to. Like you lose the whole effect
yeah,
of, okay, is anybody looking? Still not. Everybody should be looking. If that were my child, I would be so upset and just hurt at the fact that
you'd see me
nobody's
everywhere.
looking.
That's
Yeah,
the other thing.
absolutely.
You know, all these
Absolutely.
parents that aren't they say that someone took their kid, but what are they doing? They're not on outlets. They're not looking for them. Like if that was
The
my
only
kid,
one
you'd
that
see me
I've seen
everywhere.
is Michael Vaughn's mother has been just such a huge advocate for her
Yeah.
son and
Well,
bringing him
that
home.
had nothing to do
And
with it.
she's like definitely ill, basically. Like, I mean, she was really, really in a rough spot with her health for a long time.
She
And
had
she's
nothing
still
to do
like
with
that.
it, though. That's why.
No. Well, I know, but that's what you're
That's
supposed
my
to,
point.
you know.
People that
I know.
don't know where their children are, they
Yeah.
act like it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
Yeah,
they don't have any
it
problems.
was like the day before her birthday, Trista. Yes.
Was
It
it?
was yes, her solar chart like totally like lit up.
Oh.
But and it's weird because my transits pick up in February.
Cha-ching, cha-ching. No, no, you do
Supposed
have a
to.
lot of things that are on your horizon that are going to be excellent.
Yeah.
Be
We can't
excellent.
talk about any of that.
I know we can't talk about it. What about me? Sorry. I can't talk about me either.
Nope.
Mm-hmm. But seriously, guys, like 2025 has been like
But
really rough. 2026. Like everybody learn everything about yourselves. Figure out like what horrible, shitty days are ahead and the best of days too, and go out and live life and celebrate it and live consciously throughout all that,
well,
And
2025 was about
don't like,
transformation and growth because it's the year of the snake. Like we're shedding old
yeah,
skins. And all the transits are pointing to that.
really.
And Aquarius
Oh,
are
and the
got
maskies
hit
are
really
coming
hard.
in.
Yeah, Aquarius has been hit really hard because of Pluto and Aquarius will come in and shake your whole
Yeah.
identity. So if you have Aquarius placements, especially October, it was really tough for
Mm-hmm.
some Aquariuses because of the transits.
Yeah,
But when Pluto went into
absolutely.
Aquarius, it will shake your whole identity. And then so next year, as we put everything, all of that, is, it'll be better for us. Finally,
Yes, I
hopefully.
know, right? And too, like everybody goes through their own like thing with astrology. They have their own Saturn returns and all this other craziness that goes on. And sometimes you get like a shit ball after shit ball. You plan it like Rochelle is probably the master of having everything all happen all at once, constantly. And it's like a 3-month cycle, and it's
That's true.
literally in her chart, literally. But just know also that there are ways to work through it. There are other people that can kind of help explain that to you if you're struggling with things you can maybe do a little bit differently to kind of get you through that, like solar flares, Mercury retrograde that
Solar
sucks so bad.
flares, timeline
Totally
jumps. Like
everything. Yeah.
I'm not joking. I did jump timelines. Like I was gonna make a video about that too. That was interesting.
And don't feel like you're stuck in, a shit storm when there is kind of ways to ride out the storm a little bit easier and other people that can kind of help explain that and help, just kind of get you through the bumpy waters. Because,
Even Trisha recognized it because she was like, "I knew something was wrong."
yeah,
I'm like, "Why
yeah.
didn't you tell me?" She's like, "You're on the wrong timeline." And I
I
have a
just
new
think she's
timeline on.
Aquarius, I'm like, that bitch, she's an Aquarius. No, just kidding. No, but there's many good qualities about Aquariuses too, because when you figure out who that person is deeply and really like those are the people that will stick by you so solidly, so faithfully, and they don't even like have a second to second guess what your intentions are. That's how much they commit to the friendship and the relationship. So if any of you are Aquariuses and you're looking for love, that's a good traits to have. Just good to have.
Yep.
Did you
Well,
want to mention any of the other stuff that you're doing before we
I
jump
did.
in?
Well, yeah, Spirit Led is tomorrow. If anybody wants to join, have till noon tomorrow. Um, I don't know if I'm all ready for that. I was thinking I should have made it further out, but I was trying to I thought if I
No.
made it further out, no one would join, and then I thought if I made it, too close, I was trying to make it before the holidays.
Well, I
So,
hope people start joining and people realize Rochelle is still a human. She's not a robot. And, times like this, we can like openly talk, openly discuss, and, know that this is a safe place to do it. And you're not all alone. And, when Rochelle's going off the deep end sometime too, like,
all the
oh,
time, all the time lately going off the deep end. But yeah, and then I have raffle tickets for free reading questions and third prize a cup if we have that many. We only have 3 people signed up for it now. So,
well, I also know that the people that did sign up to be your little students, I've heard great things so far. So I hope that that's something that people will be
yeah,
more
we had
open
a
to in
good
the
class,
future.
Trista. We did a case, and that's what they did. They did really well. They did really well. I was
I
very
bet.
proud of them.
I
They
know
said
all
that
you closet people that aren't, don't have any abilities or gifts over here. And then you come out of the gate like, ping! I'm like, well, you
yeah,
said what?
yeah, no,
Yeah.
she did really well.
No, she played it very safe, though. Let me tell you at first. But I was
You
like,
know,
really,
she has
Krista?
my card. She has my cards, and they were very accurate
Krista
for her
has an
on the
amazing, she has amazing like abilities that I don't even like think. I don't even know if somebody in one lifetime can get through all the things that she's got everywhere. Like she's amazing, just amazing.
She said classes are over.
Well,
Uh,
you know what? She can do probably,
it's
a
because
good
we
time to
talked
sign
for
up
7
for next
hours
year.
afterwards. That's why.
But how much did you learn, Trista? I mean, you probably taught everybody else something because you just have all these things that are just amazing. So that's a
Well,
good part.
the last class, I think we stayed on there for like 7 hours.
Just so you know, like that's a regular phone call for Rochelle and I. Like, so you're getting the goods, just so you know that. It's well worth the investment. 7 hours is a lot of information.
Yeah, we were just, chit chatting, me and Deb and her. We in class
That's
and then
cool.
we in class and then we talk forever because I have no social
Hmm.
life. So that is my social life.
Well, when you have something in common to talk about, it makes it easy to talk, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we talk just about everything. So
Right. Yeah, we don't want to get anybody upset, so it's looking like everything's changing. The masks are coming off everywhere. Sometimes it's the pants still as well. So
that's in the astrology right now for true colors and everything, that like
yeah.
corruption and all that to come out. So that's
So
that's
if
Tuesday
your
with
friend is
astrology right
acting
now.
a little shady, just just wait for it. Just wait for it. Just know it's coming because this is a big time
Skeletons.
event too. Yep, very big. And my daughter's a Sagittarius. She's going through that right now, and I'm just like, why don't you listen to your mother? Why? Like, listen. I tried to tell you about these things so they don't hurt so bad when they happen. She doesn't
Yeah.
listen. She doesn't listen. She doesn't listen, but turkey time is almost near, and it's a good time to like reflect and be with families. Because let me tell you something. About 15 years ago, I had this thing where my parents were like, I just did we had gone so like on different paths with everything, even though we loved each other so much, and no matter what, it was like moving the world. But they were, because shit comes up in your life and blah 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 blah. Well, both of them are about that age now. One's like 77, one's 75. They both had like surgeries, and I'm kind of like the primary caretaker now. Well, I didn't get to see like the younger side of them because I was young, when they got together or whatever. And now I'm seeing like this honeymoon phase that is like it's the craziest thing to watch a parents be like in their 70s and then all of a sudden like watch them living out like their little honeymoon and just the love and everything else that they have for one another. It's a different kind of care. It's a different kind of love. It's a different kind of togetherness. And it's really for anybody that has not experienced that, it's a lot and it's wild. Like I don't think many people get that gift, I guess. And it's crazy. So Something to
Are you gonna
look forward
cry?
to. I am crying. But just it's like those things, like keep in mind all about how life is sometimes when everything else is shit. You can come look at my parents basically making out 24/7 with a broken or a new hip. And it's something. It's really something, and I hope more people get to experience that. It's pretty cool.
Well, at least you get to experience all I hear my mom say is, I guess I'll be alone the rest of my life.
Now she's gonna have cats. Doesn't she
Me
want
too.
cats?
And she's allergic to cats. She might end up with Starlight living in there.
No, your person is supposed to bring her person, remember?
Oh,
Hopefully.
that was.
Hopefully, yeah.
We'll see if that happens. I don't know. The dream that was weird. That happened during the super moon. Yeah, and I dreamed of someone's specific birthday that I was hanging out. I've been hanging out with that person in my dreams for a long time. It's weird. I don't know.
That's kind of
But
cool. I
that's
used to have something like that.
well, I always was thinking it was just a dream until I got a birth date and an age.
And then you swap timelines.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope he's the same.
Well, that's I had to go to another
I
timeline to get there because the
know,
higher
right?
timeline, I was in a low timeline. That's why everything went to shiz.
Mhm.
Now things are starting to move because, like, man, it's been bad. Like,
It
it's been
has
bad.
it's been more challenging than most
More
years.
challenging. I'm over here like I'm gonna have to go do a million readings so I can catch up.
And she's pimping out her
But
chickens,
I
like
don't have chickens. My
I
goats.
know, I'm just kidding. But the
But no,
goats though, they're
I was
fun.
thinking I might start a YouTube channel for my mom for her container home because those do really well. Like
Yeah,
if I
right.
can film while they're making it, I don't know, might help pay for it.
She said it's gonna happen. Everything's gonna work out, Rochelle. And then you teach her how to
Hopefully.
make like pot cookies or something. That'll be great. That'll be so great for her.
Well, she's got her building permit. We just have to finish
Woohoo.
so.
The rest of them. Remember, and if she wants to be salty with you again, just tell her Tracy's gonna get a container home
She's not
soon.
going to.
So.
She's new. She's new timeline mom.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. She's not salty mom anymore. She's new timeline mom. Oh my God.
But you
I
know what
love
was
that,
crazy, guys?
Jackie.
Is I literally had people come into my TikTok and say, "Where have you been? I haven't seen you." Like literally, they could not see me because I was on
Literally.
a low timeline. And
Uh-huh.
I'm sure that happened on my YouTube too because no one was interacting until I switched timelines, and then all of a sudden I was here again. It was the
Yep.
weirdest thing.
It wasn't even an algorithm thing. She just wasn't there.
I just wasn't
Wasn't
there.
there.
I was just disappeared from this timeline, and
Well,
then I just showed back up, and they're like, "Oh, where have you been?" I'm like,
think
"I'm in
about that,
another
Rochelle.
timeline, apparently."
It,
And then
you
I
know
sit
what?
here and I'm like, "It's the greatest timeline because all this stuff's coming out about Orange
Right?
Man and."
Mm. There's corruption here, corruption there. And
Yep.
that's probably why I couldn't even see my post on your channel that time because I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm not even visible on your stuff because I'm on the other timeline too.
And Trista's like, "I knew something was wrong." I'm like, "Why didn't you tell me?" That's why
Right?
I said, "I want the fuck out of this timeline. Get me out of here and take me somewhere else."
Well, I have a secret to tell you that I never told you. It was like 3 days before that, and I started Googling, can I decide what is my free will when I want to just leave this soul contract right now and do something different? I was like, they didn't bring nothing up about dumb timelines. I was just like, I had it. I had enough. I'm like, I'm all set with all this bullshit that's going on right now
I
because it
have
doesn't
I
help
think
me.
my video that I have will tell you how to quantum jump, but I
No, you
literally
took me
have
with
it
you.
in I
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
have it in my astrology to be able to do it because I read timelines so I can do it easily. Like literally I passed out
Yeah.
after I did it.
Yes, but I
And I
came
woke
with
up and
you. So.
everything was different. It was weird.
Hmm.
It was really weird. And
Look at that rainbow.
I had a dream about my ex but I had been thinking
Yeah.
about him and stuff, and then I found out all this stuff was going on with him. It was
I
wild.
know. It was like a rekindling. But that rainbow that you got too, that was beautiful. It's like
Oh, I've
you didn't
never
see
seen
that
a
back
bright
in property timeline.
I've never seen a bright rainbow. Well, I have to say I think that
That
was a
was
sign
pretty.
because for one, when I was on live, right when
Yeah.
I started doing readings, the thunder started rolling in. Like we
That's
started hearing
true.
thunder, which was crazy.
That
And
was crazy and very
then
true.
then the next day, like I fell asleep on the couch. And the next morning, I went to go let the dogs out, and there was the rainbow. And I was like, "Oh, I'm going outside to take a picture of this." It was drizzling, raining. I'm outside taking
Right.
pictures of the rainbow. I come back in, it's gone.
That was crazy. And it was so
It
bright and
was
so
so.
beautiful.
It was a double rainbow. Double rainbows are actually really rare, but it was so bright. I've never seen one that bright on that one side.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
So,
Definitely a sign.
but I get signs from the sky all the time. That's how I get my signs. Is I always see like uh,
Yeah.
rainbows that go up, or something with the moon, or something with the clouds.
Oh,
There's always
definitely.
something in the sky, which also
Mm-hmm.
aligns because I have so much air in my chart.
Mm-hmm. You're
I know it was.
yeah,
And you know what's funny too is I never have a rainbow on that side. It's always on
that
that
is
side.
crazy. That is wicked
And that's the
crazy.
side of Cochise Stronghold that
Oh yeah.
where all the crazy energy is.
That is crazy. Well, I hope everybody that signed up for tomorrow has an amazing time and an opportunity. It
How
sounds
come
like
your
I wish I
kibbles
could
are
be
going
there.
off and mine aren't? I only got one. I gotta order some more or find the other one. This one
What?
sucks.
What's
Trista's
wrong?
saying her kibble is going off when we're talking about the rainbow.
Oh,
Hi.
really?
Yeah.
Trista has all these little gadgets and all these secrets, and she hangs out with unicorns and everything. So, she's probably gonna win the raffle, and she's pretty special. So,
And the crazy thing too is all that stuff happened after I made the Summer's call, and I really did feel a shift with that. I really think eventually they'll check, and I'm hoping it'll have a good outcome.
I hope so too, and hopefully it'll,
Because
settle.
I'm right about other locations. I just like look at Dane.
Yep. Well, just like Jay, like the mob wasn't climbing the mountains and trekking through things just to chase him down and throw him off. Like that was crazy. Like
I
even
mean,
joking about it was
if the
like,
cartel was after Jay, then they would have just put him in the ocean. He would never been seen again. They wouldn't take him and throw him off a mountain.
they ain't if they're like what we expect,
Drag him
like
to
the
that B
mafia.
Michaels. Come on.
Yeah, there was no people chasing him up the
No,
mountains.
I saw the truth, and I was probably the only one that did. And that's the thing is, I'm always on the other side of the narrative because I'm seeing things for what they are instead of like I literally cannot fabricate things. I can see lies and other timelines and things like that, but I literally cannot fabricate things.
Exactly.
And a lot of
Exactly.
people gave me shit about Caleb too. I'm like, well, that's what the astrology says. Like,
Wait, but it was crazy because as you were like even describing everything, and when I was kind of like just doing some snooping, and I'm like, what the heck are they talking about over there? Oh, my drink just fell over. Okay. And it was basically all the things that you were describing that you were confused about was what people were putting the narrative out there to
narrative.
be in all these secret places. I'm like, what? That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And just like, same thing I think you said with like Riley and everything. Like there was nothing nefarious. Like the poor kid, like once you see the videos and everything of how much he's stumbling and no one's giving him any help, like you
Yeah,
totally saw like that whole it was a like horrible place to be for sure when you don't have any balance and there's nobody around to help you. But
yeah.
no one's pushing them in, and bring comfort to the parents, bring comfort to the families by knowing that there's nothing nefarious going on. An accident is an accident,
Well, that's what
and
frustrates me about Kylie Rodney is I saw her go in before where that case even came up, and then when I did a mediumship on it, this person couldn't come and
yeah,
argue with me on a mediumship reading. Like, how disrespectful with spirit can you get? Like,
yeah,
she's literally you're channeling her story.
yeah. And I, from the day one with
Wild.
her too, I always like I literally saw like the floating and towards like I was like, oh my God, that's horrible. It's a horrible way to like m- kind of get to the end of things, but I didn't see anything like nefarious either. And I've never even got that before until that one piece, and I was like,
Well,
oh my gosh, it's so sad.
the
Like,
hard thing with that one was that I picked up 3 accidents in the same weekend. So Jalissa, Vegas, and then
oh,
that
that's
one. So
right.
it made it a little confusing.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, the whole drama narrative and everything, like I guess they have nothing better to do with their days. That's what they do is hop around and and then on to the next and then
Oh,
on to
the
the
stuff
next.
that they were saying about, like, there were certain psychics that were saying that in Kylie, that her mom was a crisis actor and all this kind of stuff, and I'm just like, "Oh my
Oh
gosh."
my God,
And
they did it with the shooting for the children too. They
and
did the
then they said,
same.
"Yeah, but Kylie Rodney, I mean, come on, like,
I
that
know, I
that
know,
just
I
pissed me
know.
off." And then you had another
Yep,
one saying,
yep,
like, Jalissa was all, hers was gang related, and, she didn't, it wasn't an accident, and I'm just like, these people are crazy, like,
yeah, it's not their story to
and
tell. It's not, yeah.
I still think that when I told the family member that and they put it in the group chat, they were friends with that cop, I really think he saw that
Mm,
and thought about it, and I was like, "I'm gonna go check this out."
it's
I really
possible.
do, because she told me, she was like, "Well, I'm just gonna put this in the group chat," and apparently he was part of it, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's using her voice and making sure that there's truth and things that there should be truth in. There's no reason to make up stories about the way a person passes away or who's responsible or whatever. And if you're gonna get the name, there's only one reason why you're getting the name, and
Mhm.
that's because it's solid information. No one's gonna try to trick you, I promise. And
They will not give you a fake, they will not give you a name and say he's the perpetrator if he's not the
no,
perpetrator. Not a
no, they
full
won't.
name, never.
They won't. And honest to God, when people do pass, especially with traumatic ways or whatever, that they don't want that to be the narrative of everything going forward. They want you to remember them and how much you love them. All these other things, their passing is not important, really. Unless, of course, there's a reason why. It has more to do with what their own soul contract is supposed to be than, because it contributes to the bigger picture. But yeah, conspiracies and all that other craziness is just, oh my God, like, yeah. Don't even give me, like, for weeks now I've been like, something's happening, Michelle. Something's gonna go down. Something bad's gonna happen. Something real bad.
Well, it was the Mercury retrograde because it'll steer stuff up even if it's not, you know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
gonna bring attention back to the case because it was retrograding back to the same degree she went missing, and I was telling Trista, I was like, "Yeah, Summer's case is retrograding back," and I had just realized, and I was born with Mercury retrograde, so I think that's why I have a thing with going back into old cases, like,
And the masks come off all around there because even who was like, somebody's been lying to me. Somebody's not telling me the truth. Like, oh my goodness. Oh, guess what? You got what? What do they call that? Bamboozled or whatever? Because you thought people were actually authentic and real. Sorry, dude. It's a hard thing to go through, but you know.
yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, the thing with this is you just have to kind of, I mean, you have to stay ethical, that's the thing, you know.
Yep, that is very true. Very, very true. When they start pulling pandas out of their butts and everything, you know that they're not real and things that doesn't happen here. Maybe on a different planet, but that's about that. And
the, the thing is when this all clears up and this all comes to a head, everybody's gonna see exactly what it was, and then just like they did with Jay, it
I
wasn't
know, I'd be
a
shocked.
big
Like,
plan. You
oh,
saw people asking
that's
about that, but
it.
it's like it wasn't what people thought. It's gonna be the same thing here. It's not gonna be what people think.
I know, right? That's it. That's all there is to it. Like it doesn't matter. It's there. It's her story, not anybody else's, and that's the way it's
Well,
supposed to be.
that's the problem with fixed sign charts is that you get the drama, the bullshit, the confusion,
Yeah.
all of that, you know.
Well, they're used to that in their life, so that's usually what
Have
is really all
everybody with all
encompassing
their
in it.
narrative and shit, and that's the
Mm,
thing is it's not going to be what anybody thinks when it comes when she's found and it comes out. It's not going to be what anybody thinks.
no, and just have prayers for everybody around that, including her parents and her brothers, and it's
I
gonna be
just wish
tough.
that Candace would do the right thing.
I think she somewhat has done that, like not in the best way to do it, but I don't feel like she can kind of like hold her tongue much longer as far as that goes. And there might be a lot of regret because maybe not realizing how bad off she was. Maybe she did have that moment to think, well, if she did, maybe she could have helped her. But that's it's a lot of heaviness.
Well, it's the same thing with Sebastian's case. There could have been help there and there wasn't. They just
Yeah,
panic.
absolutely.
So they pay to feel
Absolutely.
covered. And then they move on with their lives like nothing's going on. At least it seems like Candace is dealing with a lot of guilt regarding it, coming out,
Yeah,
unfortunately, with the
she
issues
is.
she's having. And I unfortunately feel like it's affecting her heart a lot.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. And, I think she's also seen a whole different light of people. Again, the mask coming off of
Hmm.
people that she thought cared about her, and they don't. And they just took advantage of that, and that sucks. That absolutely
I
sucks
just
because this
feel,
girl has
and like
gone through it.
I, I feel like I have more compassion for Candace than I do
I
for
do.
Jack and Lily's mom. Like,
Yeah, I
because
do
I
too.
know that it was like more of like an accident that she just kind of panicked, didn't know what to do, and now she's kept the secret rather than
Right.
what I've seen with the other one and the way she is
Exactly.
carrying on.
Exactly. No, I think
And that one, I just get mad because I could see right through her. I
I
can see right through
know,
her.
right? Totally. Just like with what not just Gammon, but the other one there, what the frig is
Leilani,
Evelyn's mom was that late? No, that was
Meg,
yeah.
Megan
They
Boswell. That's the
they're
one they
they
keep.
all look alike. It's hard to tell the difference. The black eyes, the black hair. It's literally it's
That's
just blackness.
that's the one that always shows me in relevance to
Mhm.
her.
Blackness. I should say darkness. I shouldn't say black.
Those kids did not run off. Period. There are other markers in the chart. They are ones that
Dude,
did not run off.
if they ran through those woods, they are Houdinis because nobody's going through those friggin' trees and branches and everything else. No friggin' way. Absolutely not. No way. They would have to fly in order to get out. Like, I don't think they flew. So yeah, they just I don't know.
Yep. There's no walking away markers in that.
No.
And that's just like I said with Bradley's case. I knew I didn't even want to put it out because I knew
Yeah.
everybody's stuck on the you know
Yep.
the foul play narrative. And the thing is
I
it's
know.
because someone that was that was gonna come out with what happened to him. She passed away of an OD, and it's like, but she was an addict. How do you know anything she was saying was even
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Not to say anything negative about addicts, but I
Right.
have them in my family. I know how they are.
Yeah.
Like they,
They're
she
unsure
could
of
have
what the reality
thought of
is.
something,
Yeah.
it could have been in her mind. No one knows if it was accurate. And if you're an addict, sometimes you do OD. Like it doesn't mean that it's
Yeah.
nefarious
No,
because you claim to know something. And so,
that's true.
you have people already arguing me, well, because it was foul play. I'm like, dude, do you think that I'm not just going to tell you it's foul play because that's what you want to hear. Like the
Yeah.
chart literally says it's not foul play.
Uh-huh.
That's why I like to do astrology because people want to argue with me and my gifts. So you
Yeah.
can't argue when two things line up like that.
Nope. No, not usually. But there'll always be that one. Always. Always.
Mhm.
But, I hope that everybody also, if you ever have any questions or anything, or you just kind of like need a little bit more understanding about what Rochelle's getting in her reading, just like message her and ask her and have a conversation about it. She's very open to like even she'll even go back and say, you know what, maybe I should double check that just in case. Because that's the
With
kind of,
Leo.
the communication just going back and forth, not to come in and be like, you're wrong, you're always wrong, but like, nobody, don't do that. Don't do
That
that.
was just hilarious. That's the only reason I
I
posted that because I just
guess,
found
I
it
know,
hilarious.
right? Well, I went off on that comment that you screenshotted, and you're like, that was a screenshot. I'm like, because you took it down. I'm like, I was like, that one made me
It's just from
salty.
somebody that obviously haven't watched or,
I don't get salty like that either. I was just aggravated at that point because it's, no one pays attention to what it means to the spirits themselves, to their loved ones, to their families. They have to like really think about it long and hard and stop listening to what is it, Accra from Apagasia up in Star Atlas, whatever,
Yeah.
it's,
Well, because people are gonna come back to me and they'll be like, "Oh, you're wrong because this psychic says this," and it's just like, really?
they do, yeah, they do. They,
I know, and it's like, look at the track record for
they
a second.
absolutely do. And you
You're
know
gonna
what's
listen
even
to.
crazier is like you couldn't be more unalike than any two people I've ever
That's what
met.
I'm saying. I don't even know why there's a comparison. It's weird.
I agree. I 100% and
Super weird.
1000% agree. Like she gets a little leg sprinkles. And that was said with love, that's all. Said with love, we can joke. We're not hateful people, for sure. So if I didn't laugh at myself most often, I wouldn't be able to live. For real.
But I think we just wanted to come on and, do a community chat and just be like, look, try not to listen to the noise, try not to listen to the bullshit, try not to listen to it just because it's more interesting. And,
Yeah.
there's gonna be a lot of people saying a lot of things out there.
Yeah.
Just try not just use
I'm not.
discernment. Try not to like get down the rabbit hole and be just like, oh no,
Yeah.
she was taken by this person and that she was held in a barn. No, she wasn't. No, she
No.
wasn't.
No.
There's no outside influence. I'm telling you, in forensic astrology, it would show in her chart if there was any sort of perpetrator. If there's a perpetrator, I would
Yeah.
have seen the damn perpetrator. Like,
For
I
real.
would see him. There was no perpetrator.
Yeah.
Does that mean there wasn't stuff going on in her household? Who's to say? But in
Yeah.
regards to this specific thing of what happened to her, it was just an
And
accident gone
actually,
wrong out of emotions and a cover up afterwards. That's it. And then a movement. So, it wasn't premeditated.
no,
This person didn't come up and take her off the property.
no,
They didn't hold her and do
no,
anything with her. Like, no.
no.
It was just, it's way more simpler than that.
Mhm.
And I can tell you, I have checked multiple times with multiple ways, and I always get that's the one thing that's been consistent:
Yep.
running, being chased, falling. That's it. So,
Yep.
um, never seen a guy. I've tried to,
Yeah.
and I don't.
We did. We were
I
like
tried
walking down that
everything.
driveway and everything. We're like, and then we found the cop lived there and everything. We're like, oh, like, hey,
I
so
try to
close.
see. Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know. I try to see like perpetrators sometimes just
Yeah.
to see if I can see them, and I can't. It
Right.
like literally not allowed to. So,
Yep.
and that's the thing is the accidents and stuff that like that's part of my chart that
Yeah.
I guess I see more clearly because I don't put the conspiracy spins on it,
Yep.
or it is what it is. Like people, there's not always a villain. Like sometimes things just happen, and sometimes people cover it up out of their own fear or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, anything like that can happen to anybody when you have a child that's injured and you're not even assuming
Well,
anything,
and you
you know?
you have to think too is maybe there's times she's tried to come out with it and somebody else has kept her from doing so.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Just there might have been times she's like, "Oh, let's go to the police," and he's like, "No, you can't do that." And then he probably tries to
I
manipulate her into
I
keeping the
agree.
secret. "Oh, no, let's continue to push the tracking or the trafficking thing
Mhm.
and, get all these other people in trouble."
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Probably even down to planting evidence and
I was thinking the
doing whatever.
same thing. Exactly. Exactly. 1000%. And don't waste law enforcement's time either by pushing these false narratives about other people either. And it's been how long? If you don't think they've turned over every cookie, like sniffed every line of, what, that they could along the way to make sure they've been there, they've done this. Matter of fact, they even said, you know what? Stop telling us information because it's not helping. It's all just drama. And then next thing you know, all of a sudden, they have a lead, they have a tip. Like, wow, that's crazy. But, having to alleviate some of that so that they can do their real jobs and actually investigate things. They're,
Well, the timing of that tip is very suspicious. Just saying.
well, when you're trying to push a narrative and you're trying to do this and you're trying to do that, and then, oh gosh, Like, oh my gosh, there's a Fred, there's an Andy, there's another Andy, there's another Fred, there's another Hill, there's all these different things happening all at once. Crazy, huh? And she'd been in the hall the whole time.
And then I even saw like a true crime one that was like going off about her reading and how it aligns with this and how it aligns, like trying to push that narrative. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my god, Trixie, like I can't even watch. Then it started making me guess. So I had to go back to the astrology.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I'm like, no, I don't see any of this.
No. Nope. Even when you've also pulled up other things and other times or just kind of past, present, future, kind of tapping in that way, nothing like that was even. I mean, like you,
And Sebastian either. Sebastian didn't walk away.
hell no. Don't tell me he only had one pair of shoes. I ain't buying that at all. Not at all.
Oh, and there's video of like not leaving the house, but
But
like where'd he go then?
he looked so uncomfortable that night in that video over at the restaurant, though. How he was just I think he really felt like something was up. Like the way he looked around, the way he was paying attention to things, and his mom just nonchalantly doing whatever. And I'm like, then she's recanting, like recalling it all about, oh, I said, are you okay, bud? I'm like, that is not what you said at all. Like, you didn't say that. Like, that just like irked me so bad. Like, don't talk to him like that in front of or to other people when you know that you did not talk to him like that ever. Like it wasn't, they weren't buddies. They weren't having great times together. They were terrible to him, you know? So don't pretend like you were, oh, look at me. I'm just mommy over here on, I don't know how many different freaking phones she had talking to how many different people, but not paying attention to what's going on with her sons. That's for sure. So yeah.
And of course people aren't listening to my narrative because it's not.
Yeah, it's not all the graphic and the bells.
It's not drama.
Yeah,
It's not drama.
I know.
So what I'm saying can't be true because it's not drama because there's other narratives going on. What people think and all that. They
Well,
have
he
their
had
own
enough drama
thought.
in his living life. He didn't need no more after that, His dad doesn't need it anymore. He's, been through the ringer and back. And that's another thing. You ruin people's personalities, whether you like them or not. You're ruining their personalities, everything, every day with everything that you say. And you know what? The parent that is out there looking is usually the one that's not guilty. Just saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You have to look and see how people's actions are.
Mm-hmm. Very telling.
Really.
Very telling. Taking vacations and everything. Just saying. Like they didn't think he was ever coming back. But you leave a pillow and a blanket outside. So for him, so if he chose to come back and live in that environment, I guess. But it was nice of her to do that. I guess. At least she's looking like she's partaking in something, I guess. Crazy.
They all drive me wild. I can see right through them. They just
I
all drive me
know.
wild. And
I
coming
know.
from a mother's perspective, I know what I would be doing.
Every Facebook post that I fill out for a poll or whatever, it's like Tracy doesn't like liars or fakes. I'm like, yep, bam, bingo, and you usually see right through them. So, well,
No.
hopefully everybody
I can when it comes to cases and stuff, but just not my own life.
Yeah, but that's because you're open to being more open with people. Like when you
I
you
give
build
everybody the
up to
benefit.
them. You have to get to a certain point when you feel comfortable enough to be okay with that. And then once they're locked in, then they're solid. Then it's like you already have that unspoken commitment. Like you ain't gonna mess me over. Like you're here for life. And then all of a sudden they be, oopsie. Mm-hmm. And those are hard lessons to learn. So.
Yeah.
Burn it off.
Well, does anybody have any questions before we get off here? I'm feeling super ungrounded for some reason.
Oh, I forgot to set my timer because you made me use my phone. I was gonna set my timer. Yeah, it's cool.
Well, it's 2 hours. It's okay.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's way shorter than we've ever, I think, been on a phone call.
Well, we were supposed to be an hour. So,
yeah.
Yeah. I don't even remember what we talked about, but
We talked about a lot, and we've moving forward, I think that it's important for everybody to know, like, stay connected in the community. Like, nobody's pulled away, nobody's like, and I know it feels kind of weird, like making that shift and stuff, but well, I think it's better if everybody finds different ways to just connect because that's
Yeah.
kind of like what the
Well,
channel was all about before, just connecting.
and the thing is like I'm evolving, and that's what people don't understand is I'm evolving in my gifts, and I'm working the way that spirit wants me to work.
Yeah,
And that's what Pluto and Aquarius is about. It takes the old you and makes, turns you into who you're supposed to be.
it's
And
true.
this is for the future, guys,
Yeah,
because the next couple years, my chart's really lighting up for things. So
yep,
whether cases start breaking that I've said or whatever,
yeah,
there's movement that's coming in the next couple years. So
it's true.
I'm trying to strengthen my channel and evolve. And growth is uncomfortable. Growth is
Yep,
hard, but I have to do it the way that spirit is leading me to do things. And if people aren't gonna understand that, then I
yeah,
guess they don't need to be here because
right,
they're not on my vibration. Like I don't need to show everybody how I'm doing things. You don't have to sit here and watch me. Like I'm not that type of medium to sit there and channel on my own.
mhm,
It won't be accurate because I'll just be trying to like I have to have an energy to bounce off of. I have to be doing things a certain way. So, and the
yep,
astrology really does help me to trust my gift more, trust myself more. I don't have the outside noise of the community. It's
yep,
nothing against you guys, but everybody has their own opinions and it makes me second guess. You've seen that in Idaho 4. If you were in the lives, they would make me second guess a lot because they kept throwing out boyfriend, boyfriend, boyfriend.
totally.
Haley's
Yep,
or what was her name? Hannah's brother, brother, brother. Like
uh-huh,
it's too much noise for me.
it is,
Even with the sender and them having their own thoughts, and sometimes they can take me off track because they're giving me wrong information, not that they mean to,
right,
but if they have their information wrong and they're taking me off the wrong track, but yet what I'm saying is actually right,
right,
screws me up.
totally,
So, well, thank you,
totally.
Kate. Thank you, Kylie. That means a lot. And yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, but I do that because like literally this is what I'm supposed to do. Like it's all on my chart. I'm supposed to do this publicly for cases. Like that is that is my path.
yep. I can
I'm in the
validate that through Lumen
that is
5,000 times.
that is in my astrology. So
And it
I
keeps
am
coming
literally
back.
living my path doing this work and I will continue to do that, but I
Yeah.
have to do it in a way that is the most accurate with the least noise because people understand I am an antenna. I pick up a lot. I pick up a lot, not including other timelines, lies, everything. I really have to bring that in if you guys want focused reads to know what actually happened
Yep.
and
That's true.
not have to go through all the freaking spider webs to get there.
Nope. But one thing
So
also
that's
is you've also evolved like hugely in your readings, in your spirit readings when you're on
exactly.
live or whatever. Like literally guys, like she's gone from like okay, like you got to be open. Like she'll say, okay, ask me a question or whatever. Start with intuitive guidance, and boom, next you know, there's 5 people in the family like all there, and I'm just like, this is crazy.
Because we've been doing lives on TikTok like late
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't getting anybody in YouTube. I couldn't come here early enough,
Because
and
she
so we were
wasn't
going there late
visible. She
because we
was
were
on a
getting
different
like,
timeline.
yeah, because I really have to push it like so I can keep my cards. So I'm really like, I gotta push it. I gotta find new people that want readings,
Hmm.
because I just have the same people that can only get so many readings on YouTube. So TikTok, I'm getting new people in.
Right.
So that's why we're going over there, and it only works late for me for some reason.
Yeah.
I
They're,
have to go at like midnight or something. But
they're a bunch of night
the
owls.
other night was crazy because
Yeah.
like I just started getting stuff on people that they didn't have to ask me a question. I was telling them all kinds of stuff about themselves,
That
and
is
I'm just like,
true. Well,
and all of a sudden, like
they
I
were.
had a headache and I heard a pew pew, and the lady's like, I was just asking my brother for a sign, and that's how he passed. And
Did you see
it
the
was,
bottom comment that was on there too? The screenshot that I sent you, just as that was
I couldn't
happening.
understand
It,
what the
it was
screenshot was about.
the it said Winchester that had come into the live. Winchester was the gun manufacturer, for God's sake. I was like, oh my God, we
So
didn't need any more signs of that. I was like, holy crap. I mean, I don't think you can get much more than that.
but I mean, I started getting about this lady's ancestors, and
Mm,
like she lived in Alaska, and
I know.
like
Dog.
I was feeling people's stuff in the chat as well as spirit stuff. I
Mm,
mean, I mean, it was a lot, but that's the whole piggybacking thing.
Yeah, it was.
That actually advanced mediums do that. So
Yep.
more spirit. It just means you have a wider reach.
Yep. A
And she
wider
said
reach.
about my balls are validating all this. I switched them around to make sure they wasn't going dead.
Wow.
Why aren't my spirit balls doing anything? I need new ones, I
Because
think.
everybody's over at Trista's because she's all electric.
Everybody's over at Trista's house.
They like to hang out with her.
Like,
She got fairies
I
over
need,
there. She's got
yeah.
friggin' angels and a whole bunch of other whatever creatures that we never even probably heard about yet. She's got them all over there. How's your husband
But
opening up about that now? Does he believe you yet? They were watching
no,
animation.
Trista missed us that night because she was hanging out with her husband. She's like, "Oh, he missed me, so I had to go hang out with
I
him." And I'm
know,
just like, "Well, you
right?
missed a good
They
live."
were watching cartoons or something, right?
And
It
then
wasn't a
the whole tuxedo cat was crazy because yes, it belonged to Chandra, but then the other lady came in was saying she had a tuxedo cat, and I was like, that's the one she wanted to keep. And I was like, what the heck is going on
right.
here?
And you're like, keep all of them, everybody, keep all the cats.
No, it's not. It's because I picked it up, Trista.
There was
Yeah,
40
so
cats.
it was wild. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm evolving, and like I'll still do things like that, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah, but those were things that they didn't even like, go to you first. Like you just were like, hey, do you have an orange cat by chance or whatever? What?
I started going off about
Very
that
cool.
lady's tribal stuff was what it was
Yeah,
coming in at after the whole thing because she was asking if she could um it is a cartoon animated show.
it
Oh.
is. It's very high tech though. I looked at the thumbnail.
She was what was she doing? Oh, she's asking about her kids' YouTube channel, and so we just did the rods. I already knew yes, but we did the rods and we got a yes. And then I was like, yeah, but what is it with like more
Mhm,
like a vlog, like recording scenery and stuff? And she's like, oh, I just talked to
mhm,
my friend about doing that. And then it went off
mhm.
into all this other stuff.
That
So that
was
was kind of crazy.
crazy. That was crazy.
People have to ask. I usually don't just pick up random stuff on people, so that was kind of a growth thing for me. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
maybe I am.
but that's also like a very strong kind of ancestor.
Girl,
You know?
you're better than me. I'd be gone in the blink of an eye. It wouldn't be worth it for me when they're programmed that deep. See ya. I could never be a skeptic. Actually, my son was a skeptic for a long time, but he got to the point where he's like, I just can't ignore this anymore. And now he tells all his friends, my mom's psychic. I'm
I
psychic.
know,
He's
right?
like, I love telling everybody that you're psychic.
I think he does
Like,
because actually because I think that whole experience at Tombstone actually was kind of like, oh, I'm kind of like my mom now. Like, like he had that connection that he didn't understand before. That was very cool. He had a good time.
yeah,
He has a good
yeah,
time.
that was
It was fun.
that was.
It was a lot of
I
fun.
wish he was here so we could do more
I know,
because
right?
it would be a blast.
Very much.
Yeah, he called me. That's why I was late because he called me when we were coming
Yeah.
on here. He's got a new girlfriend.
Oh, no, what? It's not
I
the new
know.
old girlfriend,
Ah,
right?
oh,
Oh, it's not, is it? It's not the old girlfriend.
no,
Okay.
it's the new one he met on Hinge or whatever. I don't know. But
Gonna get his heart broken again.
like I said, you're better than me. I would have. Yep, I would have been gone in the blink of an eye. When you're not skeptic anymore, I'll be back. I couldn't do it. I have to have somebody in my wavelength. But maybe that's your soul contract with them. You're supposed to turn him.
Mm-hmm.
Show him
Yeah.
some of my stuff. Try to turn skeptics.
I don't know
I've
because
actually turned a lot of skeptics.
I think that he has been open. He just didn't know how to communicate about being open about it and something.
Oh, Eli?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, see, the thing was he was open. He did mediumship and stuff when he was younger. And then he blocked it out and he told me, he's like, Mom, I think that was just me being
No, that's his daddy getting his head about things.
uh,
Yeah.
I know. He said he was saying he thinks that was just him being like rebellious or whatever. And then he was like, the one time when he came out here with his girlfriend, like the old girlfriend he had,
Yeah.
she was very open. She was very like me, and I think that was part of her path in his soul contract
Yeah.
was to get him open again.
Right.
And I was able to talk to him about my work, and then it came to a point where like he was here when something happened in May, and it really got him like, holy crap. And then he went to
Was
the
that about
tombstone.
the
So
frog or
really
something?
open
Like
up.
that was it from like that healing perspective or something that was like, wow, that was crazy.
Well, it was funny because the last time I talked to him, he was just like, I tell everybody you're psychic now. I don't care. Because I'm
Yeah.
always right about things in his life, and I tell him, and I'm like, when are you going to listen to me? He's constantly telling me I'm right now.
Yeah. And
So
then there's other times that they'll be like, you better watch out, my mom's psychic. And I'm like, don't give away all the tools that I need, you know? Like,
I would show readings that there's already stuff out, so you could prove it that I got before. Because there's nothing about Sebastian readings that we can validate. So I would do more like
yeah,
Idaho 4.
I know.
I have validation videos. I just did one.
Yeah.
There's a short one and a long
She
one. You can
legit
show them
has
one of
been
those.
working on very many of them. Very many. Very many. But you know
I
what,
was
too?
trying to get the algorithm going,
Yeah, but
you
you know
know?
what, too? It's also kind of to the point where you spend a lot of time on that stuff, and it's not really worth your while for your work to be doing that if it's not going to help you get any further. Like everybody knows where the information is, they can go look at it or whatever and go on to the next great thing.
Yeah, but I was trying to get it like my TikTok and stuff going, you know?
Well, going on there,
So
commenting,
I just
liking
don't have
things is
time.
cool.
I don't have time to do it's so hard to
Yeah.
edit and stuff. People have no idea how much time goes into
Oh,
it.
I
And
know. I do
I'm
know.
just like, I'm tired by the time it's over. Like
Yeah,
I
but
can't all the
Rochelle,
time.
you're Rochelle 2 times, remember? It's wicked true. Like she literally has to
And
do
people don't
everything
understand, like,
twice.
when I'm making videos and I'm editing, like, the night that I did,
Mm-hmm.
that 3 videos that I put out, I was at it for, like, 6 hours, and
I
then I
know.
tried to go live, and it just didn't work. I was
Nope.
like, "I give up."
Yeah, that is just something that's not beneficial. So yeah. No.
And I'm always working behind the screens.
Yep, she is. Legit.
Behind the screens. Behind the
The
scenes. I'm
scenes.
always working behind the scenes all the time, all the time.
She is. And especially if like new information comes out about something or whatever, she's like, oh my God, now I have to go redo everything just so I know that everything's okay. I'm like, it'll come to light. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. No, I need to put a video out 6 months later and speak, SpongeBob voice from Bikini Bottom. She's like, oh my God, I didn't get my video out yet. I'm like, yeah, well, it wasn't meant to be. Like, yeah, but you don't understand. No one's gonna believe me. I'm like, I
Well,
don't know.
TikTok is just different. It's a
Yeah,
different
it
platform.
is.
So this is it's easier for me to put videos on YouTube because it's a longer video platform. I
Right.
can't do short readings. And the only way I can put videos out there is if I clip them, which takes a long time. And even then, they have to be really short, and you can't clip
Yeah.
6-minute validations into 3. Like,
No,
otherwise you lose so it makes it hard. So that's why.
that
I
is
am very much a perfectionist. Yes, that is true.
that is very,
Well,
very
I
true.
try to
Two
be.
times she has to do everything. Like,
But that's not because I'm
I
perfectionist. That's just
know.
because it's not the first time.
Yes,
No, I'm an
yes.
Aquarius. I'm a lot of Aquarius. I am definitely not a Virgo. My aunt is a
No, but
Virgo,
Virgos are
but
very similar in that aspect. Yes, very similar. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
They're
I
very
am
headstrong. And
a lot of Aquarius.
yes, this is true. That is true, too.
A lot of Aquarius and a lot of Libra and
Mm-hmm. Yep.
my what's it called? I have like one stellium and then one that's like a stellium.
I
Aquarius and Libra in the 8th house, and then I have Scorpio midheaven, which is all about psychic detective in the 10th house
uh-huh.
of public.
I forgot to tell
So
you yesterday though when you made that
not
comment.
funny, Krista. It's not funny.
You made that comment about, oh, my Sag is so bad today, and I was like, oh my! I finally got it because Caitlin's a Sagittarius. I'm like, really? You're being that
Yeah,
lazy?
then
You're
you
being
being
that
skeptic if
lazy?
she's an Aquarius.
because I
Well, like
know.
the fence I showed you was 2 times. They started escaping after the first time, so today I added more to it. So that was 2 times. Everything's 2 times.
Everything's
It's not funny. It's not funny though.
no, but you get
It's
it
not
right
funny at
the
all.
second time, you know.
Every time I do it the second time, Tracy's like, "Oh, 2 times Rochelle." I'm like, "Then just keep rubbing it in. Why don't you?"
It's very true. It's just your thing. It's like an echo. You have a soul echo of your own soul, you know? Like,
Not funny.
oh my gosh. Yeah, but you do it well the second time. Like, still love your work, which you
Guess I learned from the first time, so
usually do. And a new phone, usually from smashing it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You're great at what you do. So,
well, all 3 of my partners have been yeah, Aquarium men kind of are hard though, honestly. Like we're I
mm,
don't know if it's just the I mean, it's probably the rest of the chart, but I don't know if it's
oh,
just like a man thing or what, but like my dad's very tough. He's Aquarius. My ex was very tough. We had the same birthday. He's Aquarius. Like
just
there's
a
nothing like
minute.
me.
Just a minute.
Kind of controlling.
Right? And also you know, the N word there. Imagine that. And a lot of
That's
times,
the dark side of the sign though. Not all that's
I
the
know
darker side of it.
Aries are
Everything
more,
has a shadow side of their sign.
Aries men are more
I mean,
adept to them.
because Epstein is an Aquarius. That's the shadow side of the sign. And the rest of the chart. Can't just judge off of a sun sign.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I didn't even realize I was an Aries ever because I never felt it. So I was everything else. But I'm like, why do I always feel this way? And everybody else says, oh, Aries are fire and fresh. And I'm like, no, they're not. They're really not.
Well, no, it's because you're calmed down by your moon and your rising,
Yeah,
because your rising is how you present to the world. So you present as more of a Pisces than an Aries.
that is true.
And your feelings are about or like an Aquarius, which we can be
Yeah.
detached, but we're very humanitarian. We love everybody and everything. And
Oh, yes. And that's in my INFJ personality as well because
we
I'm
try
like,
to change
darn.
the world.
That is very true. Well, we learned very quickly that we can't save everybody. So, you know, at
Yeah.
least we learn. We get butt whoopings all the time. You should mind your own business, right? Like, no, seriously, I don't even look for it anymore. I'm just like, no, no. See, I even have like, yeah. I'm like, I'm good. Bye. No more, thank you. Nope. No more.
That's because you're a Scorpio. You wouldn't like some signs just don't go together. But yeah, we are amazing friends. That is true. Yes, we can be. Like diehard true blue, you know, even if people
I
don't
like
appreciate it.
Scorpios. Josh is a Scorpio, I think. He's pretty cool. And they are very compassionate, very in their feelings, all those things, you know.
The water sign. But
Hmm.
I don't know why whenever I got an item before I was getting Scorpio, but I was getting like fire around it. I think it was just the energy of it. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
his
that's
brain
Scorpio. I was
got
watching
messed
it back, I was
up.
like, Scorpio's a water sign, Rochelle. What are you talking about fire?
His brain done got messed up on the heroin, I think, is what happened. Like, I think it really did something to him.
I was born that way.
Well, a lot of times, especially when they're kind of like their wiring's off, it's like it fractures their soul in ways that is just not repairable. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Unfortunately. But
All right.
well, this was fun, guys. I hope that it kind of like brings everybody back to like reconnection, talk about just stuff or whatever, and stay safe out there from
Don't follow the narrative. Don't fall down the rabbit holes. It's
absolutely.
really not that complicated.
Yeah, it's not.
And I don't even think that really had anything that much to do with her. I think it had John's the one that made the call. Just saying. I think it had more to do with like people in the area that he knew about things. And
Oh, absolutely.
there could be
They
things that
all
are
have their own
planted.
reasons. Yeah, they all have their
Oh,
own.
I'm saying that for a reason. Like I just feel like there
Mhm.
could be things that were planted, or
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
what I agreed. Agreed.
just saying,
Agreed.
just saying.
sometimes we got to keep the heat off of
I'm
our
even wondering
attitude.
about like those alleged pictures, if that's even true, and if it is, if they weren't planted or he didn't
Mhm.
have them for a reason. It's just all too convenient. I don't know.
Very
It's all too
convenient.
convenient knowing that that's not even like a part of what happened to her. So
Yeah, no.
it's
And the
weird.
best we can do is if people try to push it, just be like, I'm sorry, but that's absolute bullshit. Thank you. Have a good day. That's all.
Yeah, like I said, I can't even watch like when they talk about it. Like I tried to go watch the live that you and Trista sent me, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I was like,
I
because
know.
they're talking about this narrative, and I'm just like, I can't, like, because I know what happened. I know where she is, and I can't deal.
No, I took one for the
I
team
get
that day
mad.
because it had been building up and building up and building up. And I said, this seems like a sign to me. I should probably watch it because I know that there's more going on. And then sure enough, I was like, oh, this is bad. This is bad.
I mean, if you guys really like Alive, I mean, we can find time to do it. I didn't think anybody would really be interested, honestly. Like we just jibber jabber.
Yeah, jibber jabber. Talk about crimes and inhumanities.
I mean, I don't even know what else there is to talk about, but yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, if that's something you guys really want, then
Trista and all her beauty, that's too. Like, you guys have no idea. Like, this woman has just, like, blown my mind because she's so quiet and she just talk about her grandma all the time. And then all of a sudden I was like, she's talking about everybody and their gifts and abilities and everything. And I'm like, hello. And she's like, well, I don't have anything close to what. Then she tells me all these stories about all these magical creatures she hangs out with in her dreams. And I'm like, what?
she remote viewed my house.
Like, this is nuts. Like, you don't even
She
want
described
it.
my back porch. That's a mess. She
You
remote
have
viewed my house.
like no idea. Amazing, amazing. And I'm just like, I knew there was something up with the quiet one. Always comes in like a little lady, so she's very like very proper, very well mannered. She takes very good like care after her grandmother, like very similar habits, traits, and those types of personality things. And then all of a sudden, she's like, "I have
She's
unicorns.
been a
I
huge
have unicorns."
she's been a huge supporter.
She had
A huge supporter.
very much.
She she purchased things I didn't even offer to anybody
She's
else,
probably
and I
buying your
got
underwear
I got
on
her trying to
OnlyFans.
get more work.
She
She
probably
probably
would.
would.
Totally. No, she really is. She's very, very, very supportive. And, everybody can use that kind of support. Absolutely. Very, very supportive. And cheer her on, like she's just very quiet and like, I'm just gonna like buy this unicorn lamp and then show Tracy later. And I'm like, that deserves a picture window, like in a Christmas story, like the figurely like lamp. I'm like, that's like the unicorn. Like, that's crazy. But Trista is amazing. She's
They want us to do more lives.
okay, that's fun. We can do that.
Eventually,
Yay.
Richie.
Well, this is good to know. I won't get hate mail letters tomorrow. Good to know.
Oh, maybe. People's always got a bitch about something.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
sure they'll be.
that's true. That's true, but I guess I'll just take the criticism.
And that was the other thing. Like everybody would complain when I did do readings like that, and it's just like, who's this other? Like we already talked about it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, my phone.
On the PayHip website. This one. This is my true crime deck right here.
Well, I think my battery
It
is about to
it
die.
it now has a
Where is
it's
my
now
battery?
in like a 10. I changed the box to a 10 like this. So this is I'm gonna have an archetype deck. But yeah, the PayHip store you can find this one in my Linktree.
And you're trying to make me jealous, but my phone is shading down because it's like 5% battery right now. Hmm.
And I've used these on my videos too. But I've
A
had
lot of
several
cool
people say
stuff.
they're really accurate.
A lot
But
of
they're all color coded.
she has like some pretty decent for if those cards are
They're
not
accurate.
perfect by now, I don't even know what to say because like, I know the process you went through. Amazing.
They took me a long time to do, but I want to do archetypes, so like,
Uh-huh.
I have that I need to do is sit down and do the archetypes, but they take a very long time to make them.
Yes.
I think they are from overseas, the people that make them. So
Probably the same place you got the glitter, huh?
Yeah, I have actually delivered them to who Laura got in it. She lives in Ireland.
Oh, that's
So
right.
I think it's like, yeah,
Yeah, she
it's
was.
more shipping.
Laura's another good true supporter.
Because
Very,
it's
very
through a
supportive.
third party. So
Yeah.
you would buy it through me, and then I would go to the third party, buy it, and ship it to you. That's how it would work.
Yeah, and if you get stuck and ask all those questions about how to do all that, Rochelle's very knowledgeable and all that
Krista
kind of
has all
stuff.
three. Krista, don't you have all 3 decks though? You have all 3 decks.
Okay.
She has
Are
the
you trying to hurt my
true.
feelings?
She has the true crime, the Rainbow Bridge ones that I can't even do because I
No,
start crying,
no,
and the
no.
Mayhem deck.
The Mayhem deck is very cool, but the Rainbow Bridge is
Yeah,
very sad.
I know. I can't even pull it for myself.
Yeah, that's very sad. Well, you call Krista when you need a reading, so you know.
I tried to pull for myself and I started crying
Yeah,
with the
right.
rabbit. And Ginger.
I
I was crying with
know.
Ginger yesterday, and I'm like, freaking Mercury retrograde.
It's yeah, no, it's so sad. Like it's
I
so
was
sad.
holding Kai, and I was like, "Don't you miss Ginger?" And we started crying.
All right.
And then Kai gave me a hard time because he had a sweatshirt on and he didn't like it. Tracy froze. Look at how Tracy. All right, I gotta get off here and go take care of everybody. I think she froze though. Yeah. So I have lots of merch and stuff too. And Trista, I'm actually in contact with Printify because I never got anything. Yeah, I know it's I can't do it. I do it for everybody else, but I can't pull it for myself. It makes me sad. But no, they're cool. I have more decks I want to make. They take a lot, and I haven't had a chance to sit down and do it. So, and then kick Tracy off because she's frozen. So, well, all right. Well, if you guys really did like the live, let me know in the comments, and maybe we can put something together. I don't know what we'll talk about. We kind of just like last minute. I was like, well, do you want to do that live tonight? Because she asked me about it like a couple days ago, and so, but I've got to go take care of things now and try to find some caffeine or something for tonight for your TikTok if I can. So hopefully I can make it because I feel tired just from this. Like I get ungrounded any live I do. Doesn't matter if it's readings or not. I get tired. It's weird because I feel all your guys' energy. Apparently, I get all drained. So all right, I'm gonna get off here. If you haven't liked the live already, please go like the live. Get the algorithm going. There she is. Sorry, Tracy, you froze because your phone died probably. So, all right. Well, I guess I'll get off here now. Take care, guys, and I'll see you. I'll see you. Double Rochelle lives. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I gotta try to get on tonight so I can do what I need to do. Take care of what I need to take care of. So before repo people show up at my house. It's not funny. It's really not funny. So I will see everybody later.